boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas. It is Tuesday, February 4th. We got a packed show today. We got now Cooper Kupp apparently is on the market. I've seen outlets saying that the Lions should try and trade for him. All that. We got an update on Myles Garrett, Klotzy's prospect of the week. Which he got a prospect he's bringing to us. Now here's a guy. We're gonna get to that later. Yeah. That's going to be a good one. And then we got some Pistons to get to in the second hour because trade deadline's approaching. In the NBA, more stuff's going to happen, so we'll be here to cover it. But, fellas, how we doing? How we doing today?
Oh, hey, Boone, muted.
We should just...
Come on. Hey,
dude, it's just... Let's not... No, hey... Jeff, you sounded very Italian there. Yeah, you both look very good today. Let's just have a good show, huh? I apologize for the start. I'll be better. That was unbelievable. Hey, I forget sometimes. Yeah, sometimes, you know what? The countdown happens. It used to just shut our mics off, doesn't do that, or turn our mics on, doesn't do that anymore. You know, it doesn't do that. Now it's, hey, you got to do it yourself. I'm getting used to the new system here, figuring these things out. Feel great, though. Good. Oh, I think it's not Monday. It's Tuesday. Great Tuesday. Yeah, I thought it was Monday for a second.
I think it's honestly because there hasn't been Lions games. The last 2 weeks, I've not been able to, have my bearings with the days of the week. Because normally, Sunday, it's all right, Lions game. Monday, boom. But now it's I thought today was Wednesday for the longest time. I had work off today, so I just kind of I couldn't decipher what fucking day it is. It's just it sucks now that the NFL season's over. Good stuff to cover, boys. Well, not NFL season, but Lions season.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Big shout out to the chat, man. I see everyone in there. I see Wheezy D. This is JG Hates Cup. He got hurt in golf, Super Bowl run, and stayed healthy and got a triple crown for Stafford. Well, we'll get to that. Appreciate all of you tuning in. We're 5 subs away from 12.3 thousand. So it is big time. We're on our way. So thank you for that. But I want to start off Elber Breer. That's John Macroon's guy. If you think of Sports Illustrated right now in the NFL, think of Elber Breer. Okay, that's what you think of. And Albert Breer went on the Tim Patrick show and talked about what's his name? Did I mess that up?
Patrick.
The Dan Patrick show. The disrespect for one of the best to ever do it.
No, you know
one of the best in the business of all time, Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick is one of the greatest to do it, and that was so disrespectful from you.
Well,
you need to apologize. You should get down and kiss the man's feet after disrespecting him.
I'm not doing that.
That was Tim Patrick. That's Dan Patrick.
So you know what? Man. Enough of it. It's just too much Tim Patrick lately. I think my brain is just jello with the Patricks. Dan Patrick. That's on me. Dan Patrick show. Here's Albert Breer on the best destination for Myles Garrett. Let's hear from the man himself.
All right, final 30 seconds. We're going to play the Myles Garrett game. Okay. Later on. Where will he go? I'll let you have
my favorite destination would be Detroit.
Outfit. Oh,
I just think about that. I'm they're in a spot now where they don't need their first round pick. They don't really need to keep stocking. They may be in a position where if you're them, you could almost say we may only have 5 or 6 rookies make our team. You know what I mean? So are they in a position now where it's we can start to flip picks. If you're them and you lost all of these coaches and you want to flip the momentum and kind of keep things going in the right direction, I mean, God, the idea of Myles Garrett opposite Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, that to me is really intriguing. And so, I mean, I think Detroit's in this championship window. And they had so much momentum, and then the ugly loss to Washington, and they lose 6 or 7 coaches, and it's looks like, oh God, are they missing their window? What's the easiest way to flip that?
Yeah, I mean, Albert Breer put it pretty well. And here's the thing that I like. It's fun talking about additions All right. It's fun talking about great players that want to be traded, and the Lions just so happen to need a position that said player plays. But like, I can't even, it's hard sometimes having to come on here and talk about a player like Myles Garrett. And there's people out there that we have to like try and convince. That's the only thing that I think for me, like, it's just like Albert Breer, what he just said should be like the consensus, like for most people. Now, can we have conversations about the future and have a little back and forth? Sure. But the overall opinion for every Lions fan should just be Myles Garrett in a Lions uniform, sign me the hell up. That's how it should be. We talked about it yesterday. It makes too much sense. And I'm really hoping we could talk to a Browns reporter. I'm trying to get some connections on the show here so we can talk to them and really get that angle, the Browns angle, because we can talk about what the Lions can offer, but of course I want to hear from what the Browns really do want. Right now, the organization, Andrew Berry said, hey, we're not trading them. Cool. We'll see how that ages. But from like the Lions perspective, fellas, to me, it's a no-brainer. And shout out to Albert Breer for putting it as well as he did, because this shouldn't really be too much of a conversation for like Lions fans. There's actually a poll, which I'll get to in a little bit prior to Detroit did. In the poll, I'm looking at the poll results. I'm like, what are we doing? I don't know.
I'm going to say this, boys. And
don't you do it, Boone.
What?
No, I'm messing with you.
Hey, hold on a second, Klotz, before you get all worked up. Because I have no, Klotz.
You had a good intro to the takes, Boone. It gets the emotions going.
Something's been making me really mad. I don't swear. I don't even know if it's a swear. I've been getting really pissed off on Twitter today, boys, and the last 24 hours about seeing some of these people. And I'll tell you guys what, like this is where I'm at with it. There's having, there's wanting to be a Brad Holmes slappy, a Lions slap, which I am. The Booner path, we're full tilt forward, and next year we're going to win a Super Bowl. That's what's going to happen. But then there's these people who think they're the smartest man in the room and want to try and do everything they can to try and be like Brad Holmes and put themselves in Brad Holmes' mind. Let me put you in Brad Holmes' mind real quick, an NFL GM's mind. Hey, one of the best players in the NFL is available. You have one of the best rosters in the NFL. You have top 10 cap space in the NFL, some of the best cap space available in the NFL. You have some of the best draft capital in the NFL over the next few years. And you have coaches. You have one of the best coaches in the NFL. You make the move, boys. It's as simple as that. Like, there should be no conversation with all of these people trying to break down, well, these teams made these trades and it didn't work out. This happened. No, it's as simple as you have a Super Bowl roster now. You have an opportunity to add one of the best players in the NFL. It's not like, hey, this is a stretch that can happen. No, there are big names. Albert Breer. I've seen multiple other national media networks say, hey, what are good fits to this? The Detroit Lions. Lots of people have the same opinion in the national media that, hey, the Detroit Lions need to go all in, put your chips in the middle, grow some, and say, hey, let's go win a Super Bowl and add Myles Garrett to the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. There should be no more question about it. And you know what? I'll say this. And even if you're in the chat and you're one of those people that are questioning it, because guess what? A week ago, boys, what did I do? I questioned it. But when you think about it and you look about it as a normal sense, which I've done, thanks to the boys, thank you guys for helping me out and bringing me to life. But when you look at it as a normal human, an NFL fan, and someone who covers the NFL, you don't just say, hey, no to Myles Garrett. I don't care the asset. Like, hey, Kirby needs to be resigned. Okay, we'll figure that out. Let Brad figure that out. And I'm sure if he gets Myles Garrett and a chance to do it, he's going to do it. And he'll figure Kirby and he'll figure out Anzo and Jack and all those. He's going to figure those contracts out down the line. But you don't pass up on Myles Garrett to put next to Aiden Hutchinson for the next 2 seasons and not have an opportunity to go win a Super Bowl. You give yourself and your team the best chance to win a Super Bowl. That's what you do, and that's what Brad Holmes is going to do. And I'm going to say this last thing about this. Those people who are on that side of trying to make these arguments that, hey, you shouldn't do it, those are the same people who, if Brad Holmes does make the trade, They'll be like, I told you guys, let's just trust in Brad Holmes. Let's just trust in Brad. No, you don't get to have it both ways. You don't. You don't get to go at people and say all that. And then if Brad does make a big trade like that, you can be like, okay, now let's break the. No, you don't. Open your guys' mind a little bit. Go win a Super Bowl. The Booner path. What's the end goal of the Booner path, boys?
Winning a Super Bowl.
Winning a Super Bowl. To give yourself to make the path great. You need to add pieces, and that's a piece that you don't pass up on, boys. I'm today. The last 24 hours made me very, very mad seeing that people out there are just genuinely just shutting it down, just saying nope. I know a lot of people who maybe in the football world, I was like, hey, respect. Maybe I look at it a little differently now. The fact that you can't look at it with the simple mind of, hey, you want to win football games, you're going to figure out a way to do it. You take a guy like Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add other than this. To those same people that you're talking about, Boone, where it's like, no, Brad, you don't need to. We got everything in house. You've done great through the draft, which he has. Those will be the same people looking up at the sky, cursing, whatever the fuck you want to call it, why Howie Roseman or John Lynch picked up the phone and made that move. If they go to a team in the NFC, because if you think about the AFC, the Browns, they don't want to trade inside the AFC North, that's for sure. So rule all those teams out of there. If you look at the cap space for a lot of the other teams, they have those superstar quarterbacks that have already been extended. So the cap space for them really doesn't fit. It's much more of a bargain for the teams in the NFC when you look at the young quarterbacks. You look at if the Philadelphia Eagles, because somehow the way that they have Jalen Hurts contract, they can absorb Myles Garrett. If the Philadelphia Eagles get Myles Garrett next to Jalen Carter in that front seven, what is the Lions' path? Do you like? I love the Lions, but there's got to be a point where it's like, okay, it's if the Eagles are walking out of the NFC this year and they bring back Saquon and we're gonna add in Myles fucking Garrett just for fun because we can. Because I can promise you, Howie Roseman's gonna make that call. He's made aggressive moves. John Lynch is gonna make that call. Les Snead. Their defensive line got really good. Matthew Stafford, they're going to try to restructure that because he's aging. He's only got a couple more years left. He'll probably make the call. Washington, the Commanders, they just got Jaden Daniels, what is going to be an elite quarterback on a rookie deal. They have a defensive head coach. They're going to make the call. So if Brad Holmes, and I'm sure Brad will, but if the Detroit Lions don't make the move, another team in the NFC is most likely going to get Myles Garrett because the Browns would rather not have to play him in the AFC. They'll send him to the NFC because teams are going to be calling. So they need to go get a Myles Garrett. I think it would be almost as catastrophic if he goes to another team in the NFC that's a contender, because how are you going to stop that team if they have Myles Garrett and another good defensive lineman to go with it? If the Lions don't get him, another team with a good defensive lineman will.
Yeah, and it's not always about, like, I know their biggest thing is, and I'll get to the poll, but people will say, well, this roster's already really good. Like, they'll be fine. They'll get everyone back. Everyone will return. And, they'll just make a Super Bowl, even though they lost this year and, lost in the NFC Championship last year. But this year, with a healthy roster, they're going to be way better. Like, I get that. Okay. I don't hate that. But here's the reality. You looking around the NFC, everyone's going to get better, man. You thought the Commanders were a good team last year. They're only going to improve. And they have Jaden on a rookie deal. They're going to spend money, and they want to get Myles Garrett. So, okay, you're going to sit back, chill, allow one of these other teams that are going to be perennial playoff teams get Myles Garrett? No. To me, it's not just about being a good team or a great team. You want to try and separate yourself from the rest of the NFC, and you want a better chance of winning the Super Bowl. Can they get there with what they have? I would like to think so, but you want to make a move that'll change everything for you. It's getting Myles Garrett. Like, imagine the matchups. Like, you're in an NFC Championship game, you're in the Super Bowl. This is the caliber of player he is. He is the best defensive player in the entire NFL. That just doesn't happen often. And you have a rookie defensive coordinator. You want to help him out? Hand him Myles Garrett. I bet his job would be a lot easier because you have Myles and Aiden Hutchinson. So, I'm just shocked. And I know, again, we talked about it yesterday. We're talking about it today. But today, my thing is more, I am shocked that
it's embarrassing
out there that are no, I'm good. Check this out. Pride of Detroit had a poll. They do a good job. And they do these polls with the people. And I like looking at them. The poll is, would you trade 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett?
And the crazy part is there's 1,000 people who said no. It's not like it was like a couple hundred. 1,000 people say no. Like 1,000 people. And I've been on the one that's saying, hey, you want to create a dynasty. You want to do – guys, guess what? Like the Chiefs make big moves. They have a dynasty. The Eagles make big moves. They don't have a dynasty, but they're in it every year. They have players that walk away because of contracts. Like, guess what? Hey, Lions fans, hey, let me tell you something you probably don't know already. Whether you get Myles Garrett or not, you're probably going to have to move on from some of the players on your football team. You're going to have to do it. You can't sign everyone no matter what. So why not bring a Myles Garrett in? You're already going to walk away from a couple guys probably, most likely in the next 3 years, and you keep Myles Garrett. And you have those guys for the next 2 or 3 years. And then when you have to let some of those guys go, then you readjust, you reevaluate, and you go and you can keep building because we trust in Brad Holmes. The people who are like, oh, you want to get Myles Garrett? Like, you don't trust in Brad Holmes? You don't trust in what he can do? I trust in Brad Holmes so much. I believe he can get Myles Garrett. And then when that ends and you have to move on from other players, that he's going to be able to find other guys for you because he's done it. He's built the team.
Let me bring this up. And this isn't to attack this person, but I'm really going at the ideology. And it's not just you, G Money 313. It's not just you. I've seen this all over the place. And G Money, you saying I'm not mortgaging my future for one Super Bowl. I want sustained success. Well, I would ask you, G Money, what does sustained success look like? Do you want to be the team that might make a Super Bowl, be in the playoffs every year, and just be there? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're thinking sustained success means multiple Super Bowls, hate to break it to you, the 2 that did it in my lifetime are the 2 greatest quarterbacks to ever live, Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes. Besides that, you're not going to have a dynasty of winning multiple Super Bowls. I'm sorry to break it to you. It doesn't happen unless you have Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. It's hard, or the 2 greatest coaches of all time. It's very hard. You know what I want? A Super Bowl. Give me one. The Lions have never won one. If you told me, Jeff, you can have a Super Bowl and the next 3 years, which I don't think it'll be like this. That doesn't mean immediately you win a Super Bowl and you stink. But let's just say hypothetically, you win a Super Bowl and the next 3 years, you stink. Hypothetical. I would say, where do I sign? I will take a Super Bowl for 3 years of stinking. Now, the reality is it's not going to be like that. You're probably, if you traded for Myles Garrett, let's say hypothetically they win a Super Bowl, guess what? You run it back the next year and you have a chance to compete. And even if eventually he leaves, cool. You still have your core. You still have the guys you have. And Brad is still drafting guys. So they're still going to have sustained success. You'll just have a better chance of getting one in the next 2 years. Not going at you, Money. I'm just speaking to the people out there that actually think like this. I want one. We're talking about multiple, and we haven't even fucking made a Super Bowl. Guys, how crazy are we? We're talking about multiple or sustained. We haven't even made one. I promise you, it is not guaranteed you'll make it. It's not. I'm sorry to break it to you. It's not guaranteed you'll make it this year. You have to do things like this, right? The Eagles getting A.J. Brown, they needed a wide receiver, one, and they got it. Well, guess what? Brad, as much as I love him, he has not figured out one of the most glaring issues on this team, and that is get Hutch help, please. And not a 28, 29-year-old, one-leg Marcus Davenport. Please. I'm talking about Myles Garrett, who can make plays on the biggest stage. So, guys, and this isn't, again, just the one comment. I've seen it on Twitter. Before we talk about sustained success, can we just fucking make a Super Bowl first before we talk about sustained success? Can we just please make a Super Bowl? You have to do things like this, guys. You have to take risks. And this, to me, is not a risk. Someone commented today, shout out to that person, but I saw it, and someone commented, well, what if you trade for Myles Garrett and he gets hurt? What? I mean, what hypothetical is that, dude? I'll give you another one. What if you trade for Myles Garrett and you win a Super Bowl?
Whoa!
That's a hell of a hypothetical.
Oh,
People
my
are
gosh.
reaching and grabbing at straws for excuses. And the one thing I hear the most, and it's starting to like actually piss me off, and I hate that because it used to be a great thing. Let Brad cook. Let Brad cook. Let Brad cook. Oh, my God. I'm like, dude, he can cook by doing this and still like it's not that. Yeah. Why is he, if he trades for Myles Garrett, he's not cooking? Or like, dude, I don't understand the thought process of people out there that look at Myles Garrett and say no thanks. Like, who are you? Who are you? Have you won the last 3 Super Bowls? You can like the Chiefs can do that. Like, oh, we're good on Myles Garrett. You got nothing. Of course you'll take a Myles Garrett. So it confuses me. It does. And it frustrates me that people out there, 1,000 people, and it could be more. I haven't looked at the updated poll. 1,000 people said no thanks to the best defensive player fucking walking on earth. I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
And last thing, and hopefully my mic's working, boys. It took a dump over here. I don't know.
You sound good, Bill. Don't stress.
All right, dude. And the last thing with that too, and Jeff, listen. Like, if people really don't, I'm tired of seeing the people on Twitter making excuses about, hey, the draft. I was one of those guys at first. I was one of them. But when you come to the realization and you actually go, hey, what's the truth about all of this? Oh, what am I saying? Like, what was I saying to myself? I was sitting there saying, I want Brad to have those picks so he can keep bringing in new players. Guys, if you win a Super Bowl post Myles Garrett, let me tell you what, people, that's what the fans right now, those thousands of people in that poll right there, they're worried about post Myles Garrett, correct? Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they're worried about, correct?
Probably. I would assume. Yes.
Post Myles Garrett, what did Brad Holmes do post Quinn Trisha? What did he do? I'm going to ask the question.
He rebuilt that entire.
He built one of the best teams in the NFL, right? Okay.
Yes.
So post Myles Garrett, if you're like, oh, we don't have the picks, we have all this money, we had to get rid of some guys. Are you? So what you're telling me, you don't trust Brad Holmes to do this and then rebuild again with an already made up roster and to keep this thing to sustain success? You don't think Brad can do that? He did it with nothing. He built this team to something with nothing. You don't think a post Myles Garrett Super Bowl, he can't rebuild from instead of down here, from up here to get right here again? What are we talking about? It's literally like, take all of you in the chat that are saying no, because I see some of you in there. Take your mindset and take what you're saying about Brad Holmes and short-term success and use that and think about it if you do get Myles Garrett. And if you win a Super Bowl with them, and then after that, you keep building with the pieces you already have in place. That's it. It's like, it's that simple. It's literally, it's that simple. You should trust Brad Holmes to make a big move and then to move on and be like, after the big move, we already have the culture. We have everything set. We just need to add a couple more pieces now. Might be one more year after that, but guess what? It's not going to take 4 years like it did when he first started. There should not be one Lions fan. There should not be one Lions fan that says no to this trade. Not one. There shouldn't be one. If you're a real Lions fan and you talk that talk, walk the walk. You want a Super Bowl. You want Myles Garrett. End of story. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you said it well.
Boone? Are you sure?
Yeah, dude, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. Even the poll, like 1,000 people, and apparently Anakin, shout out to him. He said the poll's updated. It's like 2,000. It's like, dude,
it's because, and I love like Jeremy. Is it Jeremy over there? He's with them, right?
Yeah.
I love that, but they're just like, and it's the people on Twitter too who are just
it's the people voting in the poll.
I know, but the reason people follow who they read, people follow who they follow on Twitter, and they get that mindset.
Jeremy's been in between. I think he said he would be like, he kind of was saying both ends of it. Like, I haven't tuned in too much to like the media in general. We had Corey on. He said, fuck it, go for it. And probably we'll talk to Doc tomorrow. I'm curious where he's at with it. But like, dude, yeah, it's Myles Garrett. Like, there shouldn't even be like a discussion. It's very on Twitter that just. It's very black and white. The people are trying to think of this Like, dude, Brad Holmes and that front office, they get paid to handle the money. Like, you're not like, let them handle all that shit. That's Brad's job. That's the team he has around him. That's their job. Their job is to figure out the money. Now, the Lions do have money. Not for long, though, because in a couple of years, you're not going to be able to do moves like this because everyone's going to be near the highest paid at their position. And now you're strapped for cash. You have a window right now to go get guys like this. Now, what's the other angle? Well, what if Myles Garrett won't play on his current deal? Well, now we're just talking out of our ass. Has Myles Garrett came out and said, I will not play on my contract?
Wait. Myles came out and said something. What did he say? He doesn't care about he would have signed a contract in Cleveland, but he said, I want to go to a winning organization right now. I want to go win. Nothing to do with money.
Huge money. Booner, to your point that you brought up, he's an owner in the Cavaliers. Like, Myles Garrett is set up financially for life. Even if he were to be, you're on a bargain deal, which would not be a bargain. Like, you have an opportunity, like, and I'm not going to beat it like a dead horse, but if you have the opportunity to bring in Myles Garrett, it's not mortgaging anything of your future. Myles Garrett is adding to your future. Myles Garrett is normally a player that teams build around. You're building around Aiden Hutchinson, there's a core that's already re-signed, and you're adding Myles Garrett to it. So there's no risk to it, boys. There's simply none. If you want to use, you could do the first round. Name me a defensive end in the first round that's since 2017, which Myles Garrett was the first overall pick in. Name me a defensive end that's better than him. You could probably come up with Aiden Hutchinson. If you want to throw Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Jeff Booner. Where were all those guys drafted in when it comes to the first round? In the top fucking 5. You're not drafting in the top fucking 5 anytime soon. So go ahead. If you want to roll it with a rookie, it's good, but some other team in the NFC is going to have Myles Garrett.
In this too, like JT, he says, no, that's not totally true. You would be taking away from the future. There's long-term risk. Well, I want to address this.
Take it.
Like this. And again, number one, to do things like this, there's always risk. But here's the reality. Okay. Let's say hypothetically it's two first round picks, maybe some mid round picks. Like let's just discuss the first round picks. So you wouldn't have a first round pick. Let's just say hypothetically this year and next year. What about after that, guys? Wait. Oh yeah. They'll have their first round picks. So if you don't think in 2 years, Myles Garrett's going to derail this team to the point where you wish you had your pick, or something happen. Like, of course, there's always a risk. Goff could go down and you win 4 games. But that's not how you think. That's not how you think. You think Myles Garrett on this team, fuck a first-round pick for the next 2 years. You have Myles Garrett. Like, you have to select someone at 28 and next year at 27 and really hope that this player is even a starter. Like, we've seen guys in the back half of the first round that just don't pan out. It never, like, or they're all right their rookie year and continue to get better. Like, you have to hope they even get close to like an 8 to 10 sack a year guy. You just hope they can get there. Well, guess what? I have a guy who has 100+ sacks in his career. Like, are we really going to hold on to these 2 first round picks? Like, why are we hoarding these first round picks, dude? I mean, at some point there's going to be an opportunity like this. And to me, it's right now. Like, there's an opportunity right now to make a deal like this. And if the Lions, let's say there's a report that the Lions did make a call, but he was traded to the Commanders, I would be so disappointed and so livid. Like, the last thing I'm going to do is come on here and say, well, trust Brad. Like, that to me is coping. Like, that is ridiculous. Now, is Brad a great GM? Yes, but let's act like this guy's not human. All right. There's going to be things that we look at and be like, well, Brad, I mean, if the Commanders are doing it, I would say they're pretty well run right now. It's kind of a smart move for them. It would be a fucking smart move for the Lions. I mean, it would. They would take the Lions into a whole nother echelon. Like, right now with what they have, I think they can make an NFC Championship game. But to me, it's a toss-up. Them or the Eagles. If you get Myles Garrett, good luck. Good luck.
Again, I'm gonna go off this again just real quick. The last thing I have to say about the whole situation. But like this, like, it's not about parting with the draft assets. It's acknowledging that there isn't enough pie for everyone to get a slice. Probably means Branch, Laporta, JMO, walk.
Sorry, I just knocked it off.
But like, listen, like that.
I got here.
JT knows this. JT's locked in the NFL world. Like, JT, you know this. Even if you don't bring Myles Garrett in, you had not even those guys. There are other names on this team. Like Jack Campbell's going to have to get paid. Like There are guys on this team. You're going to draft more guys who are going to want to get paid at some point.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Everyone's not going to be able to stay, whether you bring in Myles Garrett or not. So, like, you're going to have to make decisions no matter what. No matter what. I want to make those decisions coming off a Super Bowl. That's when I want to make those decisions. And we can have those conversations.
Yeah, and
like
I know
coming off the
my bad, but I thought you're done. It's me.
No, I'm just saying, it's coming off a Super Bowl. Like, that's when you want to look at those and say, okay, but if I can go all in, and yes, there is risk to it. Like JT said, I don't care about the risk. The reward is a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You've missed it the last 2 years, whether it was injuries or whether it was what happened in the NFC Championship game. If you have another edge rusher, you probably win that game because you're getting to Brock Purdy. So it's like, for me, it's just like, hey, it's worth it. It is worth going and getting a guy like that, because no matter what, you're going to have to move on from one of these players because you've drafted so well. And then it's like, why not have to move on from them and have Myles Garrett in the building and winning a Super Bowl? It makes no sense. There is no side. To me, there's no argument on the other side, because there's a counterpoint every time, every single time. And it's in all the counterpoint. You want a Super Bowl? That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And
so if you don't make the Garrett trade and you lose the next 2 years, guess who I'm looking at? All those people on Twitter. Don't worry. I've bookmarked all of you. I know exactly who you are. And don't tell me if Brad does make the trade, don't tell me, well, let's trust him. No, it's not let's trust him. We know what you wanted to do. You didn't want a Super Bowl. I know who you are, and I know those people. And in the chat, I know who you are too.
Yeah, if it was a middle of the pack player, like just a good player, we can have back and forth. But like, to me, there should be no back and forth. This is pretty like straightforward. Do you want the best player in football on defense? Yep, I do.
I mean, you have two of the best 5 players in defense.
So that's how I look at it. It's very black and white. Do you want Myles Garrett? Yep. No. Okay. Good luck.
Shout out
you can have a rookie at edge then. All right. There's also other trade discussions here. I can't believe this is actually a thing. And I've seen outlets talking about Cooper Kupp and why he would be a fit with the Lions. Okay. Now, I like Cooper Kupp. I like watching Cooper Kupp, at least in 2021. No. And they actually gave him an extension, and now they're trying to trade him. And I know the Lions, number one, they don't even need a receiver like Cooper Kupp. I know, like, you look at it like figure it out for guys, but I don't think he's that caliber of player where you say figure it out. Like, I think he's a very solid guy at this point in his career, injury riddled. You have to restructure his contract. Like, to me right now, unless it's like we talk about the draft and maybe drafting a wide receiver to kind of replace Tim Patrick, when it comes to like acquiring an offensive player, I have no interest at all. So the Cooper Kupp thing to me is stupid. It's pointless. And now this is a conversation where we can have back and forth. There can be, like, it makes sense to be like, no thanks. Like, he's not the best player in football, on one side of the ball. So for Cooper Kupp, guys, I am out. Hell no, makes no sense. And to what Klotz brought up the other day, actually, I heard some other people talking about this. I think a great fit would be the Broncos. I think the Broncos would be a really good fit for him. Or a team like that. So no, hell no on Cooper Kupp. Makes zero sense.
Yeah, I'm completely out on Cooper Kupp, and I'm normally in for at least hearing about these big name free agents or guys during the season that could be traded. But Cooper Kupp is just a guy where he's missed 18 games over the last 3 seasons. It's just not somebody that you can depend on. And you talk about wanting to bring in a Myles Garrett, wanting to be able to bring in another cornerback in free agency if you're not able to bring in a Myles Garrett. I mean, Cooper Kupp, how many yards do you think he'd have for the Detroit Lions? 500?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
like Amon-Ra's going over 1,200. J-Mo's going to be near 1,000. If not, he's going to be right under it, around that range, 800 to 1,000. Laporta's going to be in there. Cooper Kupp is going to be a guy that's just going to be your wide receiver 3, and you're going to be paying him a good amount of money when you could have Tim Patrick, not Dan Patrick, Jeff, Tim Patrick. You could have Tim Patrick, a rookie wide receiver, Khalif Raymond. There's no use to have another wide receiver on this team where Cooper Kupp doesn't have an ego, but there's a demand to throw Cooper Kupp the ball, especially if you trade for him. So I think if you look at Cooper Kupp, he's not even somebody that I'd look as a true threat if he was acquired in the division, in the NFC. Like, I think Cooper Kupp's going to be a good wide receiver, but it's the last thing that I'm going to do is be breaking the bank or just throwing off all the papers on the desk to figure out a way to get Cooper Kupp in Detroit. Like, I understand Jared Goff, Cooper Kupp, like, chemistry's there. That's great. That's fine. They had that with Josh Reynolds. Different times. So Cooper Kupp's not needed. Great player, though.
Boys. Hey, very well said.
Booner's like, bring him home. No.
No, I mean, a couple things with it. First off, the Rams did say they would take on a lot of the majority of the contract. So, like, the points that you guys make with the money, like, you're not gonna have to worry about the money because the Rams already came out and said, "Hey, it feels like the Rams we just want to get, we want to get some assets out of this. Like, it's gonna be a kind of a clean breakup. It feels like, which is good for him. I just don't see a world like this is just one of those news things, especially in the Lions world, where anytime there's a big player that becomes available, it's like, oh. And I know you can make that argument with Myles Garrett. I think that's more realistic in my opinion because it's Myles Garrett and where you're sitting at right now and your biggest weakness was your defensive line and that's available. But with like Cooper Kupp, it's just like your offense is set. Like to me, I don't mind. I've said it before, like drafting a wide receiver in the third to kind of go with Tim Patrick. But like you have J-Mo, you have Amon-Ra. The only reason I could think about it is maybe the fact that you want more depth. And I don't know if Cooper Kupp's willing to take less of a role. Like you'd have to have those conversations with him because at the end of the day, like you can't make the argument it's because of the money and it's because of the assets you'll give up. Because I'm guessing he's going to get traded for like a 5th round pick. And then the Rams are going to take on most of the contract. So like those arguments don't sit with me. But the argument, it's like, hey, where is he going to even fit on this football team? That's where I'm like, yeah, I don't see a fit. I just don't. It feels like people are trying to make it a story because of the whole Jared Goff and him situation, reuniting them together, that they've played together in another kind of contending team. But outside of that, that's all I have. Like, I don't think it should be a story. And if it happens, it happens. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, whoa, like that's a different, like, how is this offense going to work? And then we can have that conversation then. But I'm out. I'm out. Yeah, I think typically all three of us across the board aren't on the same page. We're on the same page tonight, though, boys.
Yeah, we agree.
Again, maybe I disagree with some of the points with it, but we're on the same page at the end of the day, at the end line of it.
Yeah, even like, okay, take the money out. Still no. I love Cooper Kupp. I love watching him, but watch him from a distance. You know, I'm okay. One thing, I'll tell you another thing. Now that I'm just fired up today, you know what I hate? I hate and I know the players do as well, Super Bowl media day. It's one of the dumbest, like I get it from the media's perspective. There's actually people there that are trying to get information and actually talk to players. Like if the Lions made it, you'd have like some of the best writers here locally going out there, getting great content, talking to people, asking the important questions. But they Super Bowl media, these people get credentialed, and I swear, I don't know if they're handing out credentials to just random ass people or whatever. These people that come in, the videos I've seen today, I think I've lost brain cells watching these videos. These videos, to me, it's the most cringiest, disrespectful content. Like, it's not even funny, some of the stuff. Now, some of it is funny. Like Jameis Winston asking Saquon Barkley if he can have a job is hilarious. I love this type of content because it's clearly in good fun. But like we'll watch this.
Hey, one more question, Saquon. One more question. In this free agency, man, I'm a free agent. I really don't got no job. Who should sign me in free agency? I think New York needs to go back right now. New York? Who? Okay, thank you.
Like stuff like that. Like James
Winston
saying he needs a job, and ironically, Saquon says new. Like that stuff. I like that. That's funny. It's good content. He's doing work for, I believe, Fox or one of these networks. I don't know exactly who. He's doing a good job. But then you get these people. Okay. These people.
I haven't seen any of this, so I'm kind of excited. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
need a build.
Let's play this. This is like the bad version of all these people. All right, let's listen to
the
this.
worst.
I'll check this out, and then you give me your honest reaction, Klotzy.
Opening night, we got some questions that need to be answered.
Dude needs a smaller mic.
Patrick, for your whole career, you have had so many great people help you win. So who is your favorite ref?
No, all the refs are great, man. All the refs are great. They do the best they can. We go out there and play the game the right way.
Is there one that you give a Christmas card to every year, possibly?
Not that I can remember. I'll have to talk to some of my teammates and try to figure it out.
Travis, what do you love more, Taylor Swift or phantom 15-yard roughing the passer penalties in the playoffs?
That's a good question. Anybody else?
Mike. But like who let that dude in?
I mean, that's bad on the NFL. That's bad on the NFL.
That's bad on the people asking the questions too. Like,
they look like jackasses, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's just like, what is that guy doing? Like, there's people all around. Like, there's this whole new media wave of like social media and YouTube, like us. Like, we're trying to make it, and it's like you try and get credentialed, and then the NFL next year is going to be like, no, we're not letting like outside media in anymore because of guys like that. Like, that's the first thing that pops in my head.
They ruin it for guys like us.
And it's just like, to me, it's like, I see you. I mean, YouTuber like, to me, it's just like, what, like, dude, this is just an awkward video. Like, this is weird. Like,
it's very uncomfortable. That's why, like, it's funny. Like, it's
I
just
laugh when it,
like, I'm not like, oh my god, this dude's so funny, but it's just so awkward.
It's
like, I could have gone the rest of my life without ever hearing those questions asked to the Chiefs. Like, and I wouldn't have cared, honestly.
It's like, and here's another one. It's like this new wave of like, it's like influence. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like people they're trying to be credentialed and do something more on the serious side, but they're still like trolls, or like, I guess, trying to be like funny and trendy. And like, I understand it. Like, we do things that we go out of our comfort shell and film content that we try and have a good time. Like, I get it. But when it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious. You know, like, you gotta find a balance there. Like, check this one out. This is another one. Let's see. We'll see how much better it is, to be honest with you.
Here at Super Bowl Media Day, ready to ask the hard-hitting questions.
Now that the Luka trade happened, how does it feel not to be a part of the most lopsided trade in the last 5 years?
I don't know, man. I don't really watch basketball like that, so I don't really know too much. I didn't know that's a bad trade or not.
It's a bad trade.
Yeah, this is just normal.
Just like it was a couple years ago. Kansas City Elementary School was having a dress like a ref week for Super Bowl Spirit Week. Can you believe they're not even fucking hiding at this point? They're saying Bald is back. You, Coach Sirianni, the Bald Eagle.
We saw the LeBron video.
I wasn't really expecting to get dapped up. Like, I mean, you come over there, I'm just sitting there, chilling. I'm like, man, he's supposed to dap me up, He's one of the best to ever do it. Just to see him that close, though.
Pick 6 on Sunday. I'll never forget the name Reed Blankenship ever again.
Do you think the Eagles will ever play in a dome?
I don't know. I have no idea, but I know we're going to play in a dome on Sunday, and I hope we play really well.
Good job, Bob. He's very media trained. Hey, Xavier, what do you know about the exciting whites?
I ain't gonna lie, they nice. I see the video on TikTok over there. It was a cool video.
Get ready to learn exciting whites on Sunday. Go Birds, babe.
Okay,
That's
like,
wild.
That's a little better.
That's wild. That's
He
funny.
wasn't as like disrespectful, but still, it's like, it's just funny. That's all I've seen today on my feed is like people just fucking with the players, which, like, I don't know how the players like it. Maybe the people like that guy a little better than the other dude. What are we doing? You're right, Booner. Next year they're gonna Roger Goodell.
We're just gonna take it away. I mean,
Like,
I don't think that last one. I mean, the last one was fine. I don't think.
Yeah, the last one was pretty
That
fun.
was just that one guy. That's
That
all.
one dude, though.
It's really just about the refs, the situation with that.
I mean, we were talking about it, boys. I mean, it is kind of fucked. Like how obscene it is, just consistently.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I mean, it's just like they're hearing it already. So I don't think it's anything like fucking crazy. Like we're acting like he's going in there making threats at players. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever. Like there's gonna be goofballs in any situation. There you go. You found a goofball in New Orleans. Surprise, surprise. One of them probably just snuck in there. Probably didn't even actually get it. Like he probably just found a way to sneak inside there.
It's not even real. It's media. He's just snuck.
No
in
way
there.
that Mike was cleared to go inside the premises.
Do you think it's funny?
No, I'm sure. I don't. You can't sneak into that. Dude.
No, it
There's-
was a joke. I
I don't think there's a way to sneak in like that. I mean,
Joke.
In New Orleans? Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I
Is
mean,
that a joke?
I would like to think.
Yes, Booner, it was a joke.
Yeah, it's all right, Boom. It's all right. But I'm thinking of the referees on Sunday though, with all this shit being talked about them and just the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and all this stuff. Now the players actually are faced with it face to face. But I wonder, like the refs have to know going to the game, like, hey, you're on this, you're on the Super Bowl. They're like, fuck. Like, do you think obviously they have a job to do? But it has to weigh on their mind, right? Like they're refereeing a game with Mahomes and the Chiefs that people are saying it's rigged. Like every call they make, it's like
yeah. They hear it, and then when their King Patty Mahomes comes up to him on the line of scrimmage, hey, that either hit me late, and the next thing you know, it's gonna be and it's like one of those things where like Jordan goes up to the ref was like, okay, Michael, okay, my fault, Michael, apologize. It's that effect. They're in awe by Patrick Mahomes. That's what it is. I can't wait to see Taylor Swift. She'll be at the Super Bowl too. Can't wait. Gonna be an amazing watch. It's it feels so wrong for wanting the Philadelphia Eagles to win a Super Bowl game, but I
mean, Jay-Z says y'all gonna address the comment.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Was they had not even just them, like the refs, the head refs, but also like Roger Goodell. Like they're like acting like there's nothing with it. Like to me, it's like it's a conspiracy. Okay, whatever. That can, like, I get if you don't think it's conspiracy, but like at the end of the day, like if I'm Roger Goodell, okay, I go up to the NFL, like I'm speaking to the media about it. You look and you go look at all the samples. Like the NFL refs, like they bring up today and whatever the article that they or statement that they have about it, because it is getting like, boys, as much as we make fun of it, like it's actually a situation right now in the NFL that I don't think we've ever seen with the ref stuff, because like it's actually becoming like a mainstream story of the Super Bowl. It's like the refs with Patrick Mahomes, and like you see these guys asking questions about it. Like the refs are making statements on Super Bowl week about it. Roger Goodell's answering questions about it. To me, it's just more so like Roger needs to step up and say, hey, like maybe be a good commissioner and be like, if it's not rigged and it's not a conspiracy, Roger, then you need to make a statement and say, hey, we need to look back at these games and we need to figure out how to make this thing better so one team's not getting an advantage over the other. And we'll handle this thing in the offseason and we'll have a conversation with the refs and we'll figure it out. Like, I think it's that simple. Like, it's that simple. But like when you're like backing it up and being like, oh, it's just this is all BS. It's like, okay, maybe there is actually something. Maybe there is, because like there's no reason they can't come out and be like, yeah, maybe like, yeah, they missed calls again, like majority with Mahomes. Like we need to figure this out. We need to lock in and figure that out. So that's where I go a little like wizard hat, and I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Because it has been very because you can't say like. They get new refs every week. They have 17 different crews throughout the season. I think I saw something that they have 130 different refs. So like, it's hard to be like, hey, all 130 refs are under the Patrick Mahomes,
spell.
Yeah, like there's no way. So it more so, it's probably from top to bottom, it's an issue with the NFL, like reffing association, whatever it's called, that they need to figure out in the offseason. And they need to like, hey, you guys need to lock more in, and you need to realize like, hey, Mahomes, instead of, running out of bounds, the man stays in bounds and takes the late hit to make you call it. Like he does things to try and to turn it the wrong way. He's going to talk to you. You have to ignore him and make the right calls. Like there are things you can go about it to make it different. But like, quit playing into that, dude. I mean, it's so annoying at this point. There's no way that this should be a problem in 2025, that there's actually a situation with refs. Like this is a legit, like taking over the Super Bowl week.
It's like silent. Yeah, it's sick. NFL wants Mahomes to overtake Brady so bad. It's like the NFL is not thinking to themselves, we want Patrick Mahomes to take over Brady so bad. Now, is it annoying that he does get the benefit of the doubt a lot? Yeah. He's an all-time great. He's arguably right now, he's on track to be the greatest quarterback ever. At least talent-wise, to me, he's the greatest quarterback ever. But accolade-wise, he's working on it. But it's like, he's going to get calls that are ridiculous. Now, to the extent would I say that the league's rigged? I mean,
I'm out. You seen UFOs, stuff. Jeff? You seen UFOs?
Like I'm out on that stuff.
Like the wizard hat stuff. Like, is it rigged? I think players over the last couple of years with sports betting now becoming like massive. You've seen more NFL players get suspended for it. You've seen guys in the NBA get suspended and banned for it. Like, I think sometimes players have, maybe they're influenced by people on the outside to like, do certain things to win money on the side. Like, that could be a thing. But I think Roger Goodell in the NFL is rigging things. I don't know. Like, I would lean no, but like I don't have evidence to be like, yeah, it's rigged. You know what I mean? Here it is, John Hughes. With all the advance in technology, we still can't spot the ball with accuracy.
Like you can't. There's no way that the refs should be deciding that Mahomes every single time is going to win a game. Like I don't think it's rigged that the ref didn't spot the ball right for the Bills, but they make mistakes for the Chiefs way more often than they, for the teams versus the Chiefs than they do for any other teams. Like that's a problem at the end of the day. It's not that it's rigged, but it's like there is like human nature of maybe in the back of your mind, you're not saying, hey, I want to help this team out, but like back there, you're like,
well, even like
let's make this fun a little bit.
The Bills,
that happens.
Like how many quarterback sneaks did they not convert? It's like, how about you convert one of those? There's like so many things you point to in a ball game.
Doing it behind the left fucking guard.
How about those?
I'm not gonna listen. Stop that, boys. What are we doing? Like,
no,
don't make excuses for it because the refs did mess up. They messed up on 3rd down and 4th down versus the Chiefs. Like, there's no like, how about let's not just quarterback sneak? Like, no, like they're playing the game. They got the 1st down. Let's not like be like after they get the 1st down and they mismark it. Be like, why are you doing that? Like, no, they ran the right play and got the 1st down. Like, there's no like ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's maybe you guys should figure it out as a ref, and you guys should get the spot right. Because in the 3rd down with Dalton Kincaid, they get the 1st down. The 4th down with Josh Allen, they get the 1st down. But then you're going to sit there and be like, well, why on 3rd down did you do this? Why on 4th down are your QB sneaking? Maybe because 4 out of 4 times on 4th down that game, they quarterback sneaked and got it. But then the 5th time, the ref makes a mistake and loses them a trip to the Super Bowl. That's why. There's no like, why do that? No, that's not a thing.
But if you're going to leave it, if the game's okay, I get it. Like there's a human element to refereeing. So like there's going to be mistakes. It's just how it is. I'm sorry. Like I hate it too.
You can't like
it's
a human element. Like you got to, again, at that point,
element.
That's the point of this whole conversation is find a way to fix it. In soccer, they have trackers in there. NFL, guess what? You do the tracker. You figure it out. That's why Roger Goodell, if you don't want to hear people complain about it, make a change. You make dumb changes all year, every offseason that we sit up here and complain about. Maybe make a change that's actually going to help out the football game instead of these stupid rules out here. That's like that. At the end of the day, that's all it is.
And I think they have to make sure they're probably testing stuff already. And I think eventually there will be a change. But like we know the public, even if they make a change, there's still going to be something else. It's like technology's rigged, something's rigged. It's like it's never.
But at that point, you can at least say, "Hey, we were trying, we're working on it." They're not doing anything now. There's nothing being done. This has been a thing for like 2 years now. You cost the Bills basically a chance to go win a Super Bowl. Like it is ridiculous. And I'm not saying that they're on the Chiefs' side, but it's these refs that are making mistakes. And yes, they can't be perfect, but for goodness sake, dude, like 3rd down, you get the 1st down. 4th down, you get the 1st down. Both times, they mark you short. It's like someone's got to step up. I don't know if it's a ref up in the booth that has to look down and be like, hey, by the way, he got it. We got to push it. Like something's got to change. I don't know what it is. But like you can't have those situations. And then Jeff, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, don't put yourself in that position if you want to win the game. Like, no, Jeff, guess what? It's the AFC Championship game. It comes down to one possession every year. If that one possession turns into the refs losing you the game, that's a problem. It's not like you're playing the Panthers and you're putting yourself in a bad position. It is going to be a one possession game no matter what. I want it. Listen. I want it if I'm playing the football game and I'm on the team. I want to be the one that loses me the game over the ref losing me the game. I don't want the ref to decide my outcome.
Well, Kincaid literally lost that game too. So you can beat Kincaid.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You're making excuses. No, refs messed up. 3rd down messed up. 4th down messed up. I don't care about any of that other things. You messed up. The refs messed up. That's it. End of story. There's no, well, they could have done it in this in the 2nd quarter, the 1st quarter. They could have done better here. No, at the end of the day, the refs made a bad play, a bad decision. They screwed them over. Like, to me, that should be the bottom line. And Roger Goodell should look at it and make a change because of it. It doesn't come, to me, these are one possession games in the playoffs. It's make or break. A ref's decision cannot make or break a game. They have to be spot on. And if they can't do that anymore on the field to where they're 100%, they need to have someone in the booth on a camera, and they need to be able to review stuff like that, or they need to be able to have a chip. Like you need to figure it out. Like Roger Goodell has to sit down. There's no excuse. You can't be like, well, the Bills should have done this. No, they did what they needed to do to get the first down and win the game. The refs put them in the spot, and that's to me. That's end of story. That's it. It has nothing to do with any of the. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
I think, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, referees are going to do things that everyone wants them to be perfect. I get that. But it's just not how it is. They're not perfect. They're going to do shit that pisses people off. I mean, we've seen it with the refs here with the Lions. They face the Cowboys, and you see things happen. Taylor Decker, like, we've seen ridiculous things happen, and so I get that argument. My point is, like, I don't agree. This is where we'll agree to disagree. I don't think the only reason the Bills lost are because of the refs.
Okay,
that's
so
where we disagree.
If you're going to go that route, when the Detroit Lions, when they have lost because of the refs, and I've sat with you on shows, and you've blamed the refs too, and I'm sure back in the day, that playoff game versus Dallas, you blamed the refs as well. I would have loved to seen if you went, well, there were a lot of other plays in that game where the Detroit Lions could have made to not be in that position. No, it's like, yes, we know that, but at the end of the day, the refs made a bad call that changed the outcome of the game. No ifs, ands, buts, nothing. That's the end story.
No, there isn't. There is though. You can't just end.
But I want you to be consistent with that.
I am.
All those Lions games, you should have been on that.
I was on it. If you remember that when the Lions played the Cowboys, my thing was, why are we going for it fucking 4 times? Like,
what about the Eric Ebron or the pass interference in Dallas for the playoffs?
Brandon Pettigrew when we
had
were
Brandon Pettigrew
15.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Jim Caldwell. If I remember,
pulling at everything here right now.
Yeah, in that game, Jim Caldwell was super passive. If I remember, like, you can blame the call, yes, but my point is, it's not the only reason.
Face mask. There's just a lot of different ones.
Yeah, like. So listen, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, any game you lose, you can always be like, "Well, this was the reason why this was."
But
to me,
when you put it in the refs' hands, unfortunately, they're going to make dumb things. They're going to do dumb things like that.
When you get a first down 2 times in a row and the refs mess up back-to-back times.
Yeah, I agree. It's bad, but
you need to sit down in the summertime.
Like,
I don't really care about. Yeah, you do. I get you with that, but it's just more so like they're not even in that position if the refs don't make those back-to-back mistakes. And it's like you shouldn't have to worry about a ref making back-to-back game-deciding mistakes like that in the NFL. Like, that's like a peewee football thing. Back-to-back plays, missing the first down and mismarking it, like that is like first grade things. Like, those refs, whoever that crew was, should be fired. Like, you should be out. Shouldn't be able to ref in the NFL anymore. Like, you can't make back, especially in the AFC Championship game. I'm talking about back-to-back plays, major mistakes. Shouldn't be able to ref anymore. If I do my job wrong, guess what? I'm out. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of refs fired, man. They're gonna make mistakes.
I mean, dude, in those big, they're not fired, but like, you shouldn't be able to ref in those games, those major games anymore. Like, guess what? You're not gonna get an assignment on an AFC Championship game anymore if you're gonna miss back-to-back calls like that. You just won't. That's how I look at it. It's if you don't do your job right, you're fired. Or you don't get that opportunity anymore. You got to earn your way back. Klotz, am I wrong?
I mean, boys, my opinion, we've just seen this before in the NFL, literally with Tom Brady. The tuck rule in the AFC Championship game that was clearly not a pass, but they called it incomplete. We saw like that growing up. Like, my best friend was a fucking Patriots fan, so we'd watch Patriots game, and the refs were always favoring the Patriots and Tom Brady. This is just the way that the NFL goes. If a team is better, if a team is hot, the calls go for them. I forget who it was against, but even with the Detroit Lions, I believe it was the Vikings or maybe the Packers. There was a call in the game that went for the Lions. We're like, I don't know how the hell that happened, but it's cool. Like, we've seen multiple calls now go the Lions' way, especially this season. So if you're the better team and you got a great narrative, the refs are always going to favor your call. But I am to the point, like, if you are in a situation where if one penalty or one missed call is deciding the game, then if you're going up against a 2-time Super Bowl champion, you're probably not going to win that game. And there's things that you have to look yourself in the mirror. And before that stance, like, if you look at it, they went for 2 and they were chasing points right off the rip. That first drive, 3 and out right away. There was just the Bills were making crucial little mistakes in big moments. And I think that bites you more in the ass rather than getting a yard instead of a yard and a half on 3rd and 4th down. Like, you should have put yourself in a better situation. You can play a great game, but unfortunately, the refs, you already know that's going to be a thing. It was like that with Mahomes. It was like that with Brady. You have to play perfect to beat these teams, and you know that going in. So if you're not perfect, don't be disappointed when you lose that game. That's just how I would think of it. Yes, there's calls that would hurt the Detroit Lions, but at the end of the day, the game is not decided by the refs. It's decided by the players and coaches.
We'll see what happens with the ball chip when that gets that'll be interesting. I'm excited for that. At least they have a chip in the ball, but it's in the middle of the ball, so you can't do like first downs with that. They have to be on the ends of the ball, so you can at least determine a first down. But
yeah, I guess you have to figure out how to put one on each end.
Yeah, that's how they would have to do it. But hey, enough of the ref talk. We got a segment that we're debuting today. I'm curious. Speaking to you, mentioned opportunity. The Lions are going to be potentially giving some guys opportunities in the drafts, assuming they make their picks. We'll see what happens. But one of those players, Klotzy, talked to me today, Tuesday.
Prospect Tuesday with Klotzy.
Come on now. Here's a guy.
Hold on a second, Klotzy. Let me get this. I need you. This player.
Yeah, and Jeff, once we get the graphic pulled up, just shoot everything else as far as the other stuff up whenever you want. Like, don't feel rushed. But I'm excited for this one, boys. I think you're going to be excited, Booner especially. This is exactly what you want. Obviously, can't play the footage, the highlights of this guy during our show, but I'm telling you,
I'll play
up this name after, and then the first play you've been sold.
I don't have the highlights, but I have clips that I can play.
Yeah. But you know, like, we can't look at like this game versus this team. Like, you can't go back and look at the full season. We can't clip them. We'll get copyrighted. But if you go back on your own time, go back, watch some film, you'll see the same thing that I did. I'll say, yep, bring him home to Detroit.
Well, it's the debut of now here's a guy.
Prospect Klotz. Hey, Tuesday prospects with Klotzy, boys.
What's up, Bill? Now here's a guy. The title of this segment will be Now Here's a Guy. I'm breaking down prospects that I think will fit in Detroit, that would be good for Detroit. But these aren't always going to be the first round guys. Hopefully those picks are being spent on Myles Garrett. But this week's candidate, we love Jaden Ivey in Detroit, fellas. We do. You especially, Hefe.
I do.
But it's time to bring another Ivey home, and that is Jared Ivey out of Ole Miss, the running rebel. He's 6'6", 285 pounds, boys. Okay? This is a big guy. But when you think about it, 285 pounds sounds like a lot, but not when you're 6'6". Like, it's a defensive end, boys. This is a huge guy coming off the edge. He had 7 sacks this year, 2 forced fumbles in 12 games. But if you look back through his last 3 years at Ole Miss, he keeps getting better. Consistently gets better. He's Zion Williamson off the line of scrimmage. When you look at him, great burst. If you look at Zion Williamson, 6'6", 285 pounds. And when you just look at the strides that Jared Ivey has when it comes to getting in the quarterback, it looks like he's running on a fucking full court press. Like, the guy can just do it all. He's athletic, even though he's 6'6". He's not overly athletic. That's why he's going to be kind of like a second, third round type of guy. But when I tell you, he kills people. In the run game, he's 6'6", 285 pounds. How easy do you think he is to move with the tight end or a tackle?
He's pretty hard.
A guard.
Pretty hard.
He's a mountain of a man, boys. He sets an edge, and he's physical. He's physical. When it comes to setting the edge against the run, he gets there. When it comes to getting to the quarterback inside and out, he'll get down on a 4-point stance, 3-point stance, 2-point stance. They use him as a 3-tech, as an edge, as an outside linebacker. He was all over that Ole Miss defense, and he wears no gloves. Whenever I watch defensive ends, defensive linemen, why you got gloves on? Like, what is that truly doing for you? And I'm not going to be mad at you for it if you wear gloves. But if you're not wearing gloves, that says something. That says that you're just a tough, grit, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes type of guy. Now, Hefe, if you want to start rolling the clips of this guy, because like I said, boys, he's not the premier guy, but when you look at what he's done at Ole Miss, I'll pull up his stats real quick. Thought I pulled him up earlier. But last year he had 7 sacks. You look back, he had like around the same level. But when you look at what he does in the run game, like his pass rushing moves, he's just gotten better. He's got to develop a little bit with his pass rushing skills. He's very good. Like day one, he can play. He can play. On the other side of Hutch, he's going to win double teams or one-on-ones. He's not going to command double teams, but when you have Aiden Hutchinson, Ali McNeil, all these guys, the one-on-one is all he needs to win. This is the Detroit Lions' George Karlaftis. He's bigger than George Karlaftis, but that's what the Lions need, a guy that is just good at everything and can efficiently get through all the stages. I don't think there's going to be a glaring weakness or a glaring strength, but he does everything that you needed to do, boys. This is a junkyard dog. This is a guy, Lane Kiffin, coming from a SEC type of environment. He's got coached well. He's been around really good players. Ole Miss is going to probably have 5 or 6 players that go in the first 3 rounds. But when you look at that defense, they have the other defensive end, complicated last name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce Prince something. He had more sacks. When you go on tape and you look at why is this happening? Well, it's because on the other side of him, they have a guy that's 6'6", 285 pounds. You have to figure out a way to try to disrupt him in the pass game. He had a great Senior Bowl, was one of the guys that stuck out. But when you just go back and watch the film, boys, he's what you want. I prefer Myles Garrett, but you're going to find Jared Ivey probably late second, third round. You can go get Myles Garrett. You bring in Jared Ivey to being right behind him. I know it's kind of like, well, he's in Detroit already, but a great NFL comp for him would be Zadarius Smith. Like big, tall defensive end, athletic, can play against the run on the inside. You put him outside. So I hope he's a Detroit Lions boy. I hope he will. I guarantee they'll be interviewing him at the combine.
Hey, Michael says Myles Garrett has nothing on this dude.
Oh, no, not even close. Not even close.
I mean, Zion Williamson off the edge. I mean, like, it's just, I don't know what to say. I mean, that's
3 pass deflections. Boone, what do we always talk about? Get the hands up, swat down the line of scrimmage. In the SEC, they got athletic quarterbacks. He's chasing them down. He's going to be a very, very good NFL player. He's a great prospect.
Jared Ivey. Wow.
The monster. He's a monster.
Yeah.
Out of Mohamed Kamara. I was big on Mohamed Kamara. Had a solid rookie year. Wasn't anything great. 3rd, 4th round pick. But this guy's playing in the SEC. And he's dominating. Like, when you go and watch his film, you're like, he's just a man amongst boys. Like, there's those players where you're just like, who, like, what? Like, he just sticks out. Like, he just jumps off the film when you watch this dude. So I'm gonna be intrigued on where he kind of falls in the draft. No way he falls later than the 3rd round.
Does he have Zion Williamson's diet?
No. When you watch him, like, because he's got really good bend. That's the thing. Like, he's like normally 6'6", 285. Like, you're not getting to the quarterback, but he's very athletic. He's got the bend. And like I said, no gloves. So, you don't have to worry about the off the field.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, no gloves, man. That moves up his draft stock a lot.
Hey, no gloves.
Hey, you might get a full round. You might move up a full round with no gloves. If you don't have gloves, you might move up a couple rounds.
It's plus 10. It's a personality trait.
It's like on college football when you're designing your character. Hey, you put some armbands on there, man. You move up a few, but you get a few overall.
Yeah, it's just the aura.
No, you leave it when you don't put the accessories on, Boone. Grit.
Now, Klotz, I do want to ask you, and I'm going to ask you for most guys when you do this segment. I want to know, like, we have to come up with some type of meter or something for you, because you're good at selling. I'll tell you what, you're good at, and you keep saying he's a monster, man. No one unstoppable. I just wanted like a meter, like 10 is like, let's say, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, and then 0's like James Houston. Like, what meter in the NFL? Because the way you say it, you're like, he's a monster. It's like he's going to be like the best edge rusher in the NFL if you get him in the 3rd round, the best steal of all time. I want to know, like, he might, like, where do we see him at? Like, is he going to be like a 5, 6, like an average NFL player?
Like I said, I'd give him a 7.
So, like a Pro Bowler in his career.
I think I mean, obviously things can go wrong, but I think when you draft him, he's a day 2 guy. That's why I said like a George Karlaftis type of player.
Okay. Love that.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to get it because Klotz, you're really good at selling. I'll tell you what, if one thing you're good at, like, dude, what's his name? The quarterback that went to Arizona, like, you acted like he was about to be rookie of the year. The man played one game, and I was like, dude, you really sold. Last year, Zamir White. I'm just going into this offseason with the mindset of Klotz, when he loves a guy, he's going to sell him like he's the next Tom Brady. And it's like, I've got to find – I have to come up with a meter on my own for Klotzy guys, and I'm gonna do it every time we do this segment. I'm gonna give me a meter because I'm not drafting Zamir White in the fantasy draft again because Klotzy said, "Hey, he's gonna be a Pro Bowler," and he gets like 10 touches. I was like, "Oh, I need to know."
Fair point, Boone. Not gonna hit them all, but like he's not gonna be Abdul.
No, I just want the meter. I want the meter. I don't need you to hit all of them. I just want the meter. Like, where do we see him if he gets on the Lions? Is he gonna give us? Love that.
He's not gonna be getting you 10 sacks year 1, but he'll be one of those guys like year 3. Hopefully, can get you like 8 to 10. Player we were talking about earlier with Jeff, like how you're hoping he can be that guy in the second, third round. But
that's what I call perspective, Klotz. Love a good
project. He's not a project. He can start day 1.
I mean, Klotzy. I mean, Boone Dre are a hell of a salesman. Sometimes I don't buy what Klotzy's selling, and then
I buy every time.
No, but sometimes I'll admit, sometimes he sold me things I didn't buy, and then I eventually regret I didn't.
100%. Yeah. That's why we got to get the meter. I'm trying to think of a way because I've been with Klotzy for about 4 off seasons now.
I'll put like a number in the top.
Can we just call it like, the Booner meter? Just so Booner needs an idea. I really need an idea because
maybe we'll get like a projection thing where it's like average starter.
There's 1 to 10. You know, like the red to green meters.
Or like a star rating. We come up with a star rating.
Yeah, I want a red to green meter, like you see it, like a red to green, like in a. I need something, dude. I really do. A Klotzy meter. We call it the Klotzy meter because this is how Klotzy feels on the. Hey, I know you, Klotzy.
This would be
you
like
could sell me on it. I do. You could sell me on any player. It could be a player that won't do anything his whole career. Like,
this would be like a lemon lime color, Boone. Not quite green, but definitely like you're not in the yellow that much.
Wow. I can see it in my
head. Steve Wild said this guy is a backup special teams upside.
Wait. I got some comments here.
That's what I don't like to hear.
Austin LeBeau says, "Nah, I'll take green."
Green. Oh, wait.
Like Mike Green. The guys, I'm not saying
Mike
this,
Green,
this is like a second, third round pick we're talking about here.
Yeah, this isn't.
If you want to take Mike Green in the first round, I'm with you. He's probably going top 15 though. So, like I said, you obviously want to trade the pick for Myles Garrett, but take a Jack Sawyer in the first round. Third round, if you don't want to go defensive end again in the second, you could have Jared Ivey looking at you. The point of this is every year in the NFL draft, especially Detroit Lions fans, we are used to seeing guys that are later in the draft that you're like, how'd you miss this guy? Like, you go back, you watch the film, it's there, production is there. How do they fall through the cracks? These are the players that I think are going to fall through the cracks and be very good in the NFL.
Yeah, I watched some clips, and he for 6'6", 285, he looks. He
doesn't look like it.
No, he's built like. Wait, he's not like big. Like
he's
big,
not like Manu gut, but
yeah, that's where I was going. Like my Gio Manu take. It's like, how is this dude 6'8", 350 with no gut? Like, how is that dude 6'6", 285 with no gut? You know, it's like just.
And I'm sure you get Casey Rogers working with him for like a month or two. You can gain 10 pounds like it's nothing if you're on an NFL regimen.
Hope so.
Hey,
get you right.
Steve Wild says this dude will average 1.5 sacks a year.
You know what got me? By the way, Klotzy, again, I'll say it a million times. You sell me every time because I'm going to be watching this film and I'll be like, oh, this guy might be pretty good. Just like with Clayton Tune. I was watching lots of Clayton Tune. Yeah. But when you say second, third round edge rush for Klotzy, I can't help but just think Josh Pascal.
That's what I'm not bringing Josh Pascal to the board. No, we're not doing that.
Okay.
We want floor with upside. Josh,
this is a good conversation. We're putting a lot out there.
Jared Ivey in the second, third, or Shamar Stewart.
I forgot to say that. Yeah, give me this dude. That was going to be a key point of mine. I should have put it in a bullet point. Give me this guy, Jared Ivey, 1,000 times out of 999 over Shamar Stewart in the first round. No way, no how.
What's the production difference look
10
like?
Times down. We're gonna risk the first round pick on a guy who had 1.5 sacks last year in the same conference as a guy who had 8.
Exactly. But Shamar's projected like top 20, which is like ridiculous. Dude.
Yeah, that's
there's something going on there. Lots of upside.
Every year, there's just Boone. It's those people that try to be the smartest man in the room, where it's like he's got the NFL body, NFL athleticism. Where's the NFL production? Where's the college production? Like that,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
great
how
when
do
he's
you go
doing
out there
great.
and get 15 sacks in the NFL if you couldn't even get 2 in college? Like, there's
I
like
can't recall anyone.
you have no experience.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, well, how did Mohamed Kamara do? I just see Wilds mentioned Kamara
Let
again.
me look
Who,
up. I think he just got like a fucking sack.
where did he get drafted to? The Saints?
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Okay. No, I
Yeah,
thought
he,
the Saints.
yeah, he. I mean, he didn't really do anything his rookie year, but it's been 1 year. I mean, we'll see how that ages.
Again,
But,
well,
You get a sack?
You're bringing him in to be a role player. If Mohamed Kamara was in Detroit, it would have been better some weeks than some of the players they had out
I'll
there.
tell you what, Klotz, I'm out on Jared Ivey if you don't get Myles Garrett. I'll just say that.
If you don't get him,
Yeah, I want someone at 28.
you can get both.
Well, yeah, no, you can do both, but I'm just saying, like, if you don't get, I mean, maybe you go back to back edge rushers, but I would want someone else at 28.
hey, you know what? Could this guy be don't think of this disrespectfully, because I think when we think of this word, we think of low, but could he be like a tweener? Maybe like a tweener, like play inside, play outside.
I mean, yeah, they did that in college, but like if you're 24 years old, 25 years old, and you're 6'6", and you can move at the edge, you put him at the edge, and he gets older. But like Calais Campbell was 6'7", played at the edge for 9-10 years, and then as he got older, moved him inside.
My point with that is, okay, he's Levi Onwuzurike's replacement. Awesome. All right,
no way. Like he's not like an interior guy like that. Like no, he wins on the inside because of his pass rushing moves.
So
like,
he's situationally inside.
Yeah, like he's somebody that if you want to have 5 defensive linemen, if you want to bring down a linebacker, move him on the inside. If not, you put him on the edge.
Okay. So he's not really a tweener. He's like
he's dynamic ability to do both, but like even at Ole Miss, like I'm blanking on his name right now. They have a really good defensive tackle that again probably going to be going in the first 3 rounds. Like they'd put him like in between him and another outside linebacker.
Okay. I'm going to be honest. You told me about him today. I said, who? Jared Ivey. Looked up Jared Ivey. Look, this guy's a freak. This guy,
like him.
He had multiple games this year with 2 sacks. I mean, that's
he would dominate games. Like he has the potential definitely to be a.
Who did he have those sacks versus? What was that looking like? Actually, I have his game logs up right here. I already had it up. Let me check.
That I don't know.
Versus Georgia.
He dominated against Georgia. I know he had a good game against Vanderbilt this year as well. And normally you can laugh at that, but Vandy was really fucking good this year for their standards. And then
I don't think he played Vandy this year.
And Wake.
Yeah.
It was Wake. My bad. I'm thinking of the black and gold. Wake Forest.
Yeah, how many sacks did he have against Georgia?
2. Forced fumble.
Yeah.
7 total tackles. That was his best game of the year was versus Georgia, and they won 28-20.
Mm-hmm.
The highlight you sent me, was that the one where he blew up?
That was against Arkansas. I mean, that was just a tackle for loss. Like we said, Ole Miss had a really good defense. He led them in tackles for loss.
Hey, Klotzy, collusion. Hey, don't send I want raw reactions from Jeff on these segments.
Well,
okay.
I have.
No, that's fine. I had he's got to make a graphic, Boone. So I was like, hey,
send in highlights, send it all. No, raw reaction. No Diddy.
Boone, can we have a live reaction where I send it to you on Slack right now? I just want you to watch the first play.
No, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, you don't want to watch the highlights?
Yeah,
I do, but I'll watch it after the show. I'll get to it after the show. The people, can't see it. It's not fair.
No, you did it. You did a good job, Klotzy. The highlight. I mean,
killed it.
He looks. Listen. We're gonna dive into more after the Super Bowl. We're starting mock draft Monday back up, and we'll do like Thursdays. We'll go through national mocks. Tuesdays, Klotzy will bring. Now here's a guy. He'll bring a different guy every week, but until then. The fact that I got scoop on Jared Ivey a week before mock draft Monday,
come on now,
I feel special today.
I got to think about if I want to draft him. I'm interested, but I got to.
I slacked you the highlights, Boone.
I'll watch it after.
He's taking him at 28, dude. I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. Take Jack Sawyer at 28 if you have it. Second round hits though. It's Jared Ivey.
I think we're seasoned to not believe every single mock draft how the mock draft pans out. it's not going to matter anyway. We'll see Jack. Well, on PFF, Jack Sawyer isn't available to the second round. It's like he's going to be a first-round pick, man.
I don't know. I have not seen one mock draft of Jack Sawyer. Not one.
They're all clueless.
Not one.
Dude, I
Not
saw
one.
one earlier. I saw earlier one where the
Send
Lions.
it. I haven't seen it.
No, but Boone, you know these mocks, man.
Anything can happen, but typically you get a good feel of where a guy's going to go outside of maybe
14 offensive players go straight.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Yeah, like Dallas Turner at 19 last year, 20.
I know exactly, but like he could go first round, but again, I haven't seen one. I haven't, dude. That's just a fact.
So you got to have Mel Kiper tell you before you do it.
No, I don't. I like he's first round talent for sure, but like it's not just Mel Kiper, dude. I've seen 30 mock drafts of 30 different people, and 30 for 30.
How about I make one?
Okay, that's cool. Like, yeah, you can make. Send me one, dude. I want to see who makes it too. See how good this guy is, or guy or girl.
You just need one, and I'll see. Can I give you two?
Hey.
I just don't like. Listen, I haven't seen it yet, and you can get a feel of where a guy is projected to go based off of how the whole national media is. Like, I know they're not always right, but that's like typically. But making the statement like no matter what, Jack's going to go in the first, like that's just not a right statement.
No, I just said I'd say no.
Rewind.
Hey,
Someone in the chat, rewind. Let's see the exact words Jeff said. Yeah, I think he said it.
I said he's going in the first, man. That's what I said verbatim.
Yeah, you said it's a lock. He's going in the first.
He just added another. This guy, Booner's the king of adding extra words, bro. It's literally he's the king of it.
Michael Daly said, "Boom, CBS and SI Jack to the Lions." That's probably the doc making one on SI.
Boone, in the last like 3 minutes that you've been talking, I've sent you over 4 of them.
Yeah, look at Ball.
I haven't seen
look at
one.
Will Levis going in the first for a straight 2 months, and then he goes in the second.
I mean, and he's just as good as Anthony Richardson, who ended up taking his spot.
That's not the point. My point is like, Boone, you know better. You know
that's my point. And exactly that's my point too as well. Will Levis was projected in the first round and didn't go in the first round.
He was in the
It's not a guarantee like you're saying for Jack Sawyer to go in the first round.
What?
Boone, you're making the argument that it's like he might not go in the first round.
He might not. He's not a lock.
So the Will Levis argument is like going to the opposite.
Yeah. He tried
to
doing
me, it's saying that you guys are trying to say it's a lock for him to go in the first, right? Like
no,
I believe
Klotz thinks it's a lock. Like, dude, Will Levis was minus 200 to go number 3 overall. And
mock drafts had him in the first.
Exactly.
That's our point.
No, stop saying R because Klotz thinks that he's a lock. I'm saying it's not.
I would, yeah.
No one's a lock to go in the first round. You could easily fall out.
Yes.
No one's a lock.
But
Shador. No, maybe not even Shador.
But here's the thing, Booner. We don't know shit, so we're just giving our opinion. Like I think Jack's a first round talent.
You know what, too? You guys can have silence on my side. That's all that matters.
But if we're gonna listen to like, no offense, because we're gonna break it down, but like Matt Miller as the Bible of who goes in the first, like
okay, this is where you get off track a little bit.
I'm not
you get off the railroad tracks for a second.
Any of these
this is where you get off track, Jeff. I'm not saying it's one specific one. I'm saying as a whole, majority of the people are saying that he's not going to go in the first round as of now, and you're being like Matt Miller,
or name another one.
Did you hear what I said? Majority,
all of them. Then
majority.
All of them.
Did you hear that word? Majority.
Okay, majority. Who cares?
Jeez, I'm gonna order you some those things.
Hey, you know who we didn't know? Remember those things. Jack Campbell went in the first. No way we thought that was gonna happen. So no one knew that. So
I mean, in the after pick 20, there's a couple like every year, especially linemen and defensive linemen. What? And I think that Jack Sawyer like. Production there, film there.
Yeah, listen, there. Boys. Like, I said I would be fine with him at 28. I would love that.
We just had to get through some ups and downs.
I just think it's not a guarantee the man goes in the first. Like that's just where I'm at with it.
It's not a guarantee. I wake up tomorrow. You know,
like, look at Brian Branch. Brian Branch there was no chance he fell out of the first round a couple years ago. What happened?
But he was mocked in all of them to go in the
first, and he dropped out. Yes, I get it. It could go both ways, but again, to my point, Klotz, if you're saying it's a lot, Klotz, like he could easily drop out. Those things aren't that accurate.
Absolutely. But my take on it is he is a lock to go in the first round.
I would agree. I would agree. Jack's a first round talent, dude. Like he's. I think
that's not the argument. I'm done arguing this. We're not even doing this.
What? Okay, how about this, Booner?
He's saying it's a lock. And he's saying it's a lock.
What do you think?
No, Jeff. He's saying it's a lock, and you're like, I would agree with that. He's first round talent. So you think he's
a first round talent?
He's a lock to go in the first round.
What do you think?
I think he can. I think he's a first round talent that could fall out of the first round. He's a back end first round guy. Typically, those guys could fall into the second. It's that simple. Like Jeff, you're getting mad at me because I'm saying you're saying it's a lock, but then you're like, Klotz is like, I think it's a lock, and you're like, I agree. No. You're like, I agree with him, but then you get mad at me when I say you were saying it's a lock. No, like, dude, just stand on business. Is it a lock or not? Stand on business because you're telling Klotz you agree with him.
To me, I would take him in the first round. He should.
So do you agree it's a lock?
Okay, this is where you lose me.
Going around this.
This is where you lose me when you bring up mock drafts as evidence that, like, that's where
I just think majority of the nation right now thinks that, hey, he can fall into the second round. I'm on the same thing. He's going to be from 27, 28, all the way back to 40. Like, that's his range. That's a fact.
Well, Jack's range was 30 to 42.
Awesome.
And he went 18.
And he went, that's
so
awesome.
But my point is none of us know anything. Would we agree? None of us know anything.
No,
so
but
all we have is opinions.
It's a
lot. I think he's a first round talent. And if anyone takes him in the first round, they're getting a hell of a player. So
you have him as a lock.
Sure. I mean, you're so obsessed with a lock. Like, how about you, Booner? Staying on business.
I think he goes from 28 to 40. I'll lock that in.
That's
been my point. I never mentioned he was a lock or wasn't a lock. That's you guys. I have my opinion. He's 28 to 40.
So you don't think he's a true first round talent? You think he's probably
I just think he's that late first, beginning second round. Like, I think that's his range, depending on how the draft falls.
Gregory Rousseau, that type of range.
And I don't think it's a bad thing, dude. Like, if we got him in Detroit, I'm happy.
I agree with you. I just think he's very much. I find it hard to believe, in my perspective.
I agree. I think he's first round talent. I don't think it's a lock.
I get your point.
We know how the draft works.
I understand what you're saying. Don't you worry.
Okay.
I disagree, but
you sound
I don't
crazy,
think
but it's just like, hey,
honestly, this argument's so stupid. Like, it's just so dumb. We just
time.
It was so pointless. The fact is, we don't know. Yes, he could go anywhere. Fuck. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. So, but I hope the Lions get him though. That would be a home run.
I almost put something bad on the screen. That was on me.
Yeah, I
think that didn't happen. That neither of us were aware about, Boone.
I put my hand up and I was like,
"Is it Wayne saying quit being an OSU?"
Yeah, there's just some words in there. I would probably throw on the screen.
Jack Sawyer sucks. Any team that drafts him.
What are we doing?
Any team that drafts
entitled to your own opinion.
I mean, Wayne, you don't believe that, right?
Like, put that on there.
Take the hate out of Ohio State. We really don't believe Jack Sawyer. He can play football. Like, I mean, what are we doing here?
Boone saw the light. The ball down the sideline.
Like, take the fandom out of it.
Quinn Ewers' hands.
27, 40, like simple range there.
Here we go with the range again. No, should the Lions draft him?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Boone's not saying that they should.
Again. I just don't think it's a lot.
I'm saying there's no way in hell he falls out of the first round, and Booner is saying, yeah, there's
a chance.
Yeah, me and him disagree.
There is a chance.
He could go pick 33, and Booner would be correct, and that's what.
I mean, he can go pick 29, and I'm still right because I still think he's in that late first.
I hope he goes like pick.
If he goes like 20, I'll be like, okay, Klotz, you were right. Like, I was way off on that. But again, I think the combine needs to happen too because if he does well, he moves up.
Anything before the combine, like
very flexible.
Like I'm gonna tell the chat, we're gonna look at these mocks. They're all bullshit. The combine's coming up,
especially like early on mocks. If you go back and you look at mocks, and Boone, this is not even saying at that point. I'm saying mock drafts in general. They are fucked. If you look at them like at the beginning of the offseason compared to the end of the offseason, because trades are still going to happen. We're going to see one of those top 5 picks move. I could promise you that. top 10 pick at the very least, and that's before the draft even happened. So
guarantee you, my first mock draft's about 50% correct.
We should do that. We should lock it. We should do a first mock draft and our last mock draft.
It should just be a first round, just like an NFL first round.
Yeah, I'm not doing a 2-round mock draft. Like
not just Lions, but like full NFL. We don't even have to show the people. We can just literally put it in a little archive. Like, you know how like they bury those what are those, like a capsule, a time capsule? If we bury it, but we throw it in our archives here, and then like we compare them at the end of the off season. Or like right before the draft, we look at our old and new, and then after we see how we did.
See how the players would have turned out.
That'd be kind of funny.
We'll do our first round mock again where we alternate picks. That was a good time. Last time we did that.
Yeah, I mean, some guys get too bold sometimes. I'll tell you that.
Hey, in those mocks, I always had Bo Nix to the Denver Broncos.
I know. I mean, no, I think honestly, and this isn't going at you, Klotzy, I think that might have been one of the biggest things for us to do in the first round. Every time we would get to those spots, Klotzy refused to ever take a quarterback. And we were so adamant, me and Jeff, dude, this is going to be one of the bigger quarterback classes we've ever seen. No one will ever take 6 quarterbacks or 5 ever in the NFL draft and set
Crazy
that
things
record.
happen, man.
Mistakes were made, Booner. Mistakes were made.
Yeah, I don't even care about the mistake. I just think it was so funny. I just remember going back and just yelling at you like, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, I promise you they're going to get taken. And you're like, no quarterback.
He was the camel that broke, or the straw that broke the camel.
It was just every single time we did one of those drafts, it would make me so mad because it would just mess the whole. Like, you would take someone that I knew I wanted to take in Indy. You take like a corner, and I was like, I want him in Indy, or I want this here, and you would just ruin it. And I was like, oh, this guy.
You get so mad over those. I can't wait. Good times. Good times.
Yeah, because it's we do it. I think it was a mix of what people think, what they think will happen, and what they would do. So it was like a confusing mix.
Yeah, we never really lied, which is fun. It kind of makes it a little
do what you want. I mean, hell.
Yeah, it makes it a little interesting. You get more of a feel of what other people are taking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes. Malik says Bo Nix to Denver was so obvious, though. I mean, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty obvious. But there's still a lot of quarterbacks being taken. I mean, they're all. We'll see. It's a pretty good quarterback class, at least so far. But all right, there's other things I want to get to here because the Detroit Pistons are looking to make some moves coming up here, and I showed
Jeff,
you guys.
You couldn't wait.
Oh,
to talk
dude, it's an exciting week. You know, it's an opportunity for the Pistons to just inch closer to the top. Not that they'll get to the top of the East, but at least just make yourself a little more competitive than they already are. And they're a pretty good ball club. I mean, they're like 8th right now in the East. Might be 9th. I have to double check. They might have dropped the East after like the first 3 teams. It is pretty close amongst all the teams in the standings. But what the Pistons need to do, I'll tell you this: is go get another ball handler. That's what they need right now. They need someone to initiate offense. Jaden Ivey's out, and you can't just sit around and wait for him to return. They need another ball handler. They need someone that can do what Cade does, not skill set wise or score 30 a game with 12 assists, but someone that can initiate offense. If Cade needs a break, you need someone that can run the offense, someone that's a good passer, someone that's smart, and preferably someone that can shoot the ball. That's what you're looking for too, always. Guys that can shoot the rock. And there's some names that are out there that the Pistons could be interested in. And Pistons Talk, our good friend Anthony came up with a list here. I showed it yesterday, but these are targets potentially for the Pistons. The trade deadline wish list targets. And you see the list. We'll go through them. Any names that you like? We got Bobby Portis.
Bobby Tree.
We like Bobby. Listen, I like him. Yes or no?
Bobby Portis, yes or no? You interested?
What's contract looking like on Bobby?
Yeah, all these just have like a caveat to all of them.
I mean, okay, so I'll give you this. So the contract for Bobby Portis, I think he's under contract. I think for he is under contract for one more season, making it about 12-13 million. He's got a player option. Then he's a free agent in 2026, 2027. So he got another year with him.
For Bobby, then. I mean, he's a guy that's won a championship with the Bucks. Yeah. I mean, he's a high motor guy, somebody that knows his role with the team. He never got in the way in Milwaukee and kind of just embraced his role. Milwaukee fans fucking loved him. He's an energy spark off the bench, and he's somebody that you can throw in that starting lineup for sure. Rim protection, defense, got a little shot to him too. I like the Bobby Portis. Stretch the floor a little bit.
Yeah. I'm cool with Bobby personally. I think they need like a Lonzo Ball right now more than probably Bobby, in my opinion. Like what the skill set Lonzo can bring, probably more important, but like a DeAndre Hunter. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Since Lonzo's came back from injury, like, is he an off-ball guy or has he been like he's an on-ball guy, right? Like he needs the ball in his hands.
So Lonzo, yeah. I mean, he's an on-ball. He's an on-ball guy, but he's pretty good at catch and shoot situations. Like he's pretty good. Like if he's in the corner, Cade's running the offense, and Lonzo's open, dude's hitting. I mean, he's shooting 35% since he's back from injury. So, but that's coming off. I mean, he's played 20-something games. So I think, he's career-wise like a 38% three-point shooter. So like he's going to get better than that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Lonzo. It seems like the whole Pistons world wants Lonzo Ball. I'd be interested to see how it works.
And he's a really good defender, which is always good.
I think that's great. Like, all right, this is just my opinion, and I could be very wrong on this, and people might not like this. I think you need to get like legit. Like, I know you have Malik Beasley shooter. I think just adding more shooters around Cade. Like championship teams that have shooters, like at the end of the day. And I know like Cade's going to play what? If you're going to make a run in the playoffs and you're going to make a run to make the playoffs, like Cade's going to have to play 38, 40 minutes. Like that's just how it's going to have to be. So like, where's the spot for Lonzo? Like everyone wants him here. Like I think it would be a fine fit. Like I think he would be fine, but it's like, am I pounding the table for it? Like I personally wouldn't, because there is that side too. The man's like, before he came back from injury, I mean, he's injury prone guy. And I know it's not really, you're not giving much up for him, but like, I don't know. For me,
there's a rumored like second round pick. Something like
that. I know a lot of people want to bring in a guy like Lonzo, but I would rather like, I don't know. Like I would rather, can you scroll down more? Can we look at all these names?
Yeah. Well, I want to say, and let me try it.
Because I don't want to go. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to respond to the Lonzo thing because I get what you're saying about shooters. You need shooters. It's important. I think when you look at finals teams too, you have multiple guys that can just make plays with the ball, and they have somebody. If Cade, Marcus Sasser comes off the bench, like Asar Thompson, he's always shown the ability, but they don't have like too many guys without heavy Cade reliant, which is fine, but it's nice having another guy that again can make plays. I think that helps.
Yeah, then you get into a situation though, like say Jaden Ivey comes back, then you have hit those three, and it's just. Where's the role? But at
least Lonzo can still shoot, though.
I know. Like, I think Lonzo's game, it's like you're like good. Like, he shoots 35%. Like, there are guys in the NBA, I'm sure, on the trade block that shoot better, and like you could put like pure shooters around Cade in this situation because he's gonna have the ball in his hands. Like, why would you want to go get someone like Kelly Oubre? Like, he can shoot. And he's going to stay on the wing, and he's a slasher shoot. Like, he can do it all. Cam Johnson, just a bucket. He doesn't need the ball in his hands the whole time. Like, that's how I look at, like, Malcolm Brogdon. I'm probably out on that. Like, I saw today, like, even Pat Connaughton's up. Like, Pat's, man, dude, he can shoot the rock. And that's a guy who's won a championship with Giannis to where he just spots up while Giannis has the ball in his hands. They collapse on Giannis. Boom, Pat knocks down a big three in the playoffs. Big three in the playoffs. Big three. It was the same as like a Grayson Allen in Milwaukee. I don't know. That's just how I look at these trade deadline. I would love a bigger name. Like I would love to go get like a big time piece. But if you're not going to, and you're just going to get these small, like that's just me.
Yeah, like Malcolm, and this year we'll see. I mean, maybe career-wise he's much better, but this year he's having a rough year shooting the ball. So like, I
probably am out on him. Like,
he's shooting 30% from three. Malcolm
Bill put in the chat. I'm not gonna say his last name, but CJ McCollum. Like, dude, that's perfect. Someone who can shoot the rock.
But someone also CJ can make plays with the ball. Like,
he can, but he's also high level catch and shoot if you need it too. That's a good
name.
Yeah,
because they do like they're shooting. Of course, they need shooting, but like, dude, they just need someone else to generate something. Like,
which is fair.
Coming back, but it's so bad watching. Like, it's tough. It's been brutal. That's all Pistons fans have been talking about. It's true, but I get it. You want to keep shooting on this team. I mean, they need to be able to shoot the ball. So like, you have a balance of it. But I mean, look at this: Malcolm Brogdon, Mike Conley. Like, no,
and for Simmons,
Anthony
Conley fan.
CJ McCollum. There's Colin Sexton for
Colin Sexton.
I like the idea of Colin Sexton, though. I do. I do. Maybe it's just because I liked him a lot coming out of college and when he was in Cleveland, but I think he does. I know long term there could be a clash of roles with Ivey, but as far as making a little push this season, like Colin Sexton definitely fills that Ivey role and plays a little bit better at defense. Bring him off the bench too, even when Ivey returns, to have him with Malik Beasley. Hopefully bring him back. But Sexton's a guy that like fits what's going on in Detroit right now as far as culture as well. Like him with JB, they already have that connection. JB knows. I mean, Colin Sexton was playing good basketball in Cleveland under JB, so it'd be somewhere where it's not going to be perfect fit, but there's going to be a way where that trade would definitely work out for the Pistons. I wouldn't see that failing in any way.
Am I the only one that is like the Lonzo thing? Like everyone loves it. Am I the only one that's a little? Like,
I've never been a Lonzo guy. Boone.
It's not even like the player though. Like to me, it's like a little bit the player, but it's also just like the injuries. Like I know you don't think you're only giving up a second, but like that's still a second. But like I don't know. I think his contract's up after this year. I don't know. Like it's not like a big contract, so it's worth it. But at the end of the day, it's just like, all right, you trade for him, and then what happens if he like rolls his ankle or something? I know you could say that for any player, but I'm talking specifically Lonzo though. Like he has a history of injuries, and it's like you haven't really even. He just came back from it being done for like he hasn't played in 2 years. He just came back from that injury, and it's like at some point, guess what? It's like whether and Shifcott said he's been good, like whether he's been good or not, it's like you're taking a risk to see if he's going to stay healthy. To me, I'd rather go after a CJ McCollum or Simmons or like one of these other guys, not Ben Simmons, Anthony Simmons, or like one of these other guys to where it's like I know that they're consistent, not going to get hurt, and like you can rely on them through the playoffs. Which I mean, knock on wood, any of them can get hurt, but you see what I'm saying? Like the injury-prone type of guy like Lonzo Ball. That's like to me, I'm shocked to see that. Like Caleb loves the Lonzo thing, but no one wants to bring up the side of like, hey, this man always gets injured. Like he's never available.
I think they just look at how he's played since he's been back.
Yeah, like, exactly. But like you should also look at it to where it's like, what did you do trade for him? You don't
like
have him. You didn't really make a move at the trade deadline. You should have known that was going to happen. And that's me. Phil asked Booner's Mike Stanbright. Yeah, it did. Like literally to start the show, it just boom, just went off into space.
Boom. I think the injury aspect, of course, is fair. If that's a concern, I think that's a fair concern.
Because I want someone who's going to contribute to helping you make the playoffs and win in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think to me that's someone who can, another person who can initiate offense, make plays with the ball in their hands, and someone that can shoot.
Again, he can't do that if he's injured, though.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. You're.
Oh, I think it was Alonzo. Yeah, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. You're saying in general,
about, like,
a player,
a pitcher,
yeah.
any player.
Sorry, I'm just so frustrated.
That would still, Boone, your argument still aligns where he can't do those things if he's hurt.
No,
yeah, and it's like, Lonzo, like if you make that list, like
McCollum,
if you had a bet on one of those guys that are gonna like injury prone guys, it's like Lonzo. It's like that's the one player that like is the Pistons are rumored to be wanting, and everyone's like, I want him. It's like, why isn't anyone mentioning that this guy gets injured every other game? And I could be wrong. You could trade for him and he plays, and then I'll be happy. I'll look like an idiot, but I'd rather look like an idiot and be happy and him work out than
I think CJ. So CJ's he's under contract. Yeah, CJ's tough too, man. I mean, he's owed $30 million next year. 31.
Yeah, but again, with that,
I'm good. I'm good.
No, but Jeff, that turns into, and it depends if you want to get free agents or not, but that turns into one of those conversations like you really aren't having to pay a lot of guys outside of Cade on this team.
Yeah,
right?
31.
Like that is like if he's an actual piece though.
But it limits you from making moves next season.
That's if you want to make free agent moves this year and you want to really then you're out on him. But
and
again,
you can't trade him either. No one's taking that.
Yeah, but again, if you're saying, hey, we're going to wait till next year to really get those big deals and we feel good about this team right now with CJ and we can maybe make a couple trades, and depending on how everyone else's contract is, you can make that move.
That's the tricky part, is finding a player that fits what you're looking for, finding the right player, and then also the contract making sense. Like that's the part that Trajan's going to have to cook a little bit here. You got to find some help, but like short-term help. Like, you're still flexible. You're not locked into a contract of someone making a bunch of money. That's like older.
Dude. And I wouldn't be mad. I don't know where you guys would be. Like, I just wouldn't be mad if they went and got like the Pat Connaughtons type of guy, like to where it's like just a pure shooter that because Yeah, when I think of like playoff basketball, and I think of like making runs and playing like high level, like I know you want other guys with Cade. Let's say Jaden comes back. Again, like I'll say this point a million times, like Cade's probably going to pay. Like you're going to need him, and he might not, but you're going to need him to play like 38 minutes a game. Like that's like what Luka was doing.
Yes,
like, you don't want him to.
But Luka had Kyrie in the playoffs, and they made
yes, but like to my point though, with it is it's like those guys. Like again, I would rather have a dude to be on his side with him and be able to go handle the rock and help him out. If you don't get it and they make a trade, I'm not going to be mad because like when I envision these playoff runs, boys, I know we've watched a lot of playoff basketball with some of the biggest shots out in NBA history, like Ray Allen in the 3, like Pat
Derek
Connaughton
White.
hitting the shot, Derek White, Grayson Allen, like some of these guys. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank right now in LA. They had the shooter for the longest. I don't know. Mike Miller or like Shane Battier knocks down a 3. Like, when you look at those, to me, it's like, do you have that? Like, I know Malik Beasley can give you 15 any night, but like those types of players, I'm trying to think of like some knockdown players on the Pistons like that right now, really don't have that. Am I wrong, Jeff? Or
I mean, they have guys like they don't have guys besides Malik. Like you don't have anyone of Malik
outside of Malik, like shooter wise.
You have guys that are capable. Like Tobias is not Malik, so no, they don't.
But I'm just thinking like typically like championship teams, you have 2 or 3 of those guys who can like do that. And if it's like if you like, I'm not going to be mad if Trajan says we end up making a trade for a guy like Pat Connaughton, and you're like, people are like, oh, we wanted Zach LaVine. Like I'm actually going to sit back and be like, I'm not head over heels for it, but okay, like he's going to make some big plays in the playoffs and knock down some threes.
Always.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough yet. Like I think that's still part of the building process is getting guys like that.
I look at both. I think this team needs more shooting, and they need guys like that was the big thing.
Tim Hardaway's a good one.
The finals last year. I mean, the Celtics had the most like complete team ever, but they even the Mavericks. But like the Mavericks, to me, they lack some things. They lack some other things, but the Mavericks had Luka, and they had Kyrie, so it helped out Luka a little bit. But I don't even know if when Ivey gets back, like I hope immediately this dude just looks like a stud, but it's probably going to take time, before he's like back to Ivey. You know what I mean? Coming off that injury, so it's tricky. Like I would like another guy, that you can come in like Alonzo. But I think you're right too. Like go get more shooting. Like get both.
And I think that's like even an offseason thing to where you need to look at that. Like you need to look at like a vet player that can knock down shots when you need it, like that because. What does Cade do a lot? Like Cade gets in the lane all the time. Like that's how he plays. Mm-hmm. And it's like claps. If all you have is Malik Beasley, like there is Tim Hardaway, there is Tobias.
Hardaway, I would say he's
you still need to have more than just those guys. Like you need to go out and get like some championship shooters, in my opinion. Like you've seen it in every NBA, every single championship team. You've seen it, in my opinion. Like the Mavs, like Max Kleber was one of those guys for them, and he was like out for majority of the playoffs last year.
Even the Celtics, like the Celtics have guys like they have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but they have guys around them that can knock down
guys. Remember, we went to the Celtics game this year. Remember it was those Rose players that just could not miss threes. Peyton
Pritchard was going fucking stupid.
He doesn't even touch the ball. He just sits in the wing and lets Jason Tatum get to the rim. Peyton Pritchard, boom, knocks down 3.
Peyton Pritchard too, man. He can go get a bucket. Like
he can, yeah. You just got to find that balance, but then you also have to have those guys too, because
you need both. I'm with you. You need really. That's the two things. The Pistons. That's the off season for them. It's like
because when you have stars, dude, you need someone that like that people are gonna blitz. Everything's gonna happen on them, and you're gonna have to be able to boom. You need guys to knock shots down.
Mm-hmm.
You need consistent guys too.
Yeah, see. People talking about Marcus Smart. I mean, Marcus Smart.
I was a big Marcus Smart fan.
Dude, me too.
I loved him in Boston.
I love Marcus Smart. Boston was Marcus Smart.
Yeah, dude, when he was dyeing his hair and stuff, that was unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a dog. I get that. Absolute dog.
What's his contract look like?
Oh my gosh, dude. I don't know, but like, dude, like the Celtics last year, Sam Hauser, dude. No one ever talked about him. Averaged 2.5 threes a game, 43%. Derek White,
Sam Hauser.
I'm just saying, like Derek White shot 7 threes a game, 40%. Peyton Pritchard 5 threes a game, 39%. Like They just had dudes that just spotted up and let Jaylen Brown and Tatum just go to work and boo, 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 boo. It's impossible. You can't guard it, dude. It's impossible.
Well, and we agree. Like, it's Derek White is the perfect role player. Like,
perfect.
He can catch and shoot. He can initiate offense. He can run. Like, that dude's just versatile. I would love Derek White.
Dude, that's cost a lot of money, though. Cost of money. The Celtics have paid lots of dudes, by the way. If we don't like, let's call it what it is. That's why I'm not really worried. If you do bring guys in that cost money, you can spend some money. Like the cap, I think the cap's going up more than in the NBA. So they found a way to do it. If they could pay all those guys on that team, dude, you could pay guys on the Pistons.
They literally, you can't like. How do you even defend the Celtics? You just can't. Like, okay, pick your poison. It's like. Everyone can make plays with the ball and knock down shots. Good luck. It's like,
I know who's going to defend them.
You're screwed. Who?
The Lakers in the finals.
You say defend them or score with them?
They're going to beat them.
There you go. You said defend them. I was like,
they'll defend them. They'll score more than them.
I
would
say maybe they'll beat them. That's fair.
I think the Lakers team is so good. You guys see Luka today? What he said?
Yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah, dude, he was so mad. And then he also dude, they were like. Asking about his injury, all this questions, and like what people don't realize about Luka, I don't think his whole career, Luka's just played essentially. He's just played like on it. He's played injured.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like he's been injured. So like when you look at it, it's like he's playing at like 60-70% consistently throughout his career. And someone asked him a question today, and they were like, "Hey, what about your injury? Like." There's injury issues with your conditioning," and he's like, "Listen, like if they're mad that I wasn't playing and I took long to come back from injury, he was like, this was the first time in my career for them that I actually was healed, took the full amount of time that you're supposed to." He's like, "I didn't take too much time, but I didn't come back early like the Mavs were like having him come back early from injury so he could play because they had no one else." And it was like this calf injury. He was like, "I actually took the full time." He was like, "I feel 100%." And he was like, I don't remember the last time. Luka basically was like, "I don't remember the last time I was at 100%." And the Lakers about to get him at 100%. It's crazy. I'm pumped up, dude.
Yeah, I'm watching his debut on Saturday. I cannot wait. His jersey's going to be number one, and it's probably already number one in the NBA right now.
What's crazy for me, dude, when I started watching basketball like in 2004, like when that Lakers at Pistons finals happened, that was when I was like really starting to like understand what basketball was. And like, so I was obviously a big Pistons fan, but my favorite player was Rip. And then watching that, it turned into Kobe. And I've always been like Kobe, Lakers. So I've always been like, if I had to pick another team, like in the different conference, I'd be like the Lakers. And then you know who my two favorite players in the league are, Luka and Devin Booker. And then Luka goes on to the Lakers. And I'm like, this is like, I mean, you know how you love LeBron. So you're like, I'm in the Lakers. Dude, I've always liked the Lakers because of Kobe. Now I'm like my player that I love is on that team, Juicy J. I'm in. Go win a trophy, dude.
The Lakers are the team besides the Pistons I like watching the most because LeBron's playing. Of course, it might be his last year or two, so I try to watch as many Lakers games as I can. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be entertaining to watch those two play ball together. It's going to be hard.
I don't care what pieces they have, dude. That's going to be a good team.
They just got it. They got to get a big. And I don't know. Maybe they can get someone at the. I think Rob Pelinka brought it up. Like it's hard to find a guy like that, but if they don't get him at the deadline, dude, there's going to be guys that come in free agency that want to play with them. So
for sure,
they're going to after this offseason, dude. They're going to load up and have a great team.
They got to get like just a big to get him over. I know. Rob said that there's not really any available.
They tried getting Steven Adams, and
that would be.
And I don't think they got a deal done for him. I don't think because I think the Rockets are playing hardball. But like, imagine like a Steven Adams would be be pretty good for him.
I'm excited though. Yeah, I'm excited for the Lakers. I don't even care about LeBron. I know you're a LeBron. Like LeBron can leave, dude. I'm excited to see Luka on the Lakers for the next 10 years. Dude.
I mean,
dude, I've been all over the Lakers with Kobe. And then when I would be like, oh, I want the Lakers to like when they won that championship, people are like, you're a LeBron fan. I don't care about LeBron. I care about
he's the GOAT though, right?
He is. But I care about the second team that when the Pistons were bad, I was a Kobe fan. I cheered for the Lakers. Hence, like I don't care about LeBron. I'd rather the Lakers win. And now my favorite player, Luka. Like, sorry, LeBron. This is Luka's team now. This is his organization.
Yeah. Hey, guess who's Luka's favorite player?
Kobe. Yeah, Luka and I have a lot in common.
Well, LeBron and Kobe. LeBron, too.
Yeah, Kobe is his favorite player of all time. So,
yeah.
Some might say Kobe's the GOAT.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous statement.
I don't think so.
But
did you watch him play?
What is that? I've gotten to watch Kobe play. It was more on the mid 2000s.
I saw him with Steve.
Wasn't Nash, like dude. Prime early Kobe.
One of my favorite players. Oh my god!
But I'll say this. Michael's better than Kobe, so that's not even an argument. Now LeBron's better than Michael.
Is there something at 10 o'clock? Everyone's leaving our show right now. Is it because we're talking LeBron?
That's what it is.
Everyone's leaving the show.
Hey, welcome.
We dropped so quick.
Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday.
Hey, clock to leave, so do the numbers, huh, fellas? What does that say?
Literally, they popped back in and went up 5. No, dude, there must be something at 10. Is there like an emergency press conference about the country or something?
Yeah,
what's happening here? Are the Lions do a live show?
Maybe Canada joined the U.S. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on out there.
I think it might be because we started bringing LeBron up, to be honest.
It goes me out.
Yeah.
Go. Luka go to they're not making the finals. They can make a nice playoff run. They'll meet a team that's good in interior. They'll crumble. That's all.
All right. Yeah.
I don't care what pieces they have around them. We've seen it in Phoenix.
Jeff, they call him the ball knower. The man doesn't know. He doesn't know. Yeah.
Football.
I'm glad you could say that for yourself there, because
I would never call myself a basketball.
I think
I've seen this story before where it's like 2 stars and then the soldiers around them are Kyle Korver, and it's like you're not winning a championship though. You can get to the finals maybe, but they got to go through the fucking West.
But Klotzy, like
Rui Hachimura.
No, Klotz. Like I get it. Like as a team, they do need some work. But who cares? You got Luka. Who cares? But like, let's be real here. Like, you're in a playoff series and you're looking across and you see Luka and
LeBron, dude.
Yeah,
that's 100%.
That's a terrifying thing, dude. That's a terrifying.
I know Luka had Kyrie last year, but what Luka did last year was like unbelievable. The man should have won MVP. He took that Mavs team to the final. If he had LeBron over, like LeBron to me, like Kyrie, LeBron, same thing right now. Like you have LeBron on your team, you're like with Luka Doncic playing at the level he does, you're gonna have a chance to go to the finals and win it all. Like that, it's like the thing that you have Mahomes, you have Burrow, you have these. You're gonna have a chance every year to win the whole thing. You have Luka Doncic. It's like Giannis.
I think they need a little bit more before they can go out and just win it right away this year.
Disagree.
I'm like Booner. I would say.
You're a star, man. Top 3 player in the league, you have a chance no matter what, in my opinion. I don't care what team you put around you.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not saying it's not going to happen.
Pick a side. Will they win the finals this year or not? Yes or no? The answer is, for me, no.
I'm not saying it is going to happen.
Do they have a chance? Yes, of course they do. I'm not saying they don't.
No, I don't think they make the finals. I don't think they make the finals. But I think they're going to cause some problems. They might upset a series. They might win a series or two. Both they win 2 and you're in the West. Who knows? But yeah, as a team, like the Thunder are a better team. Like they have better pieces. All like as a team. But like you still got LeBron and Luka. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Yay. Go Red Wings. People are probably watching them, to be honest with you. Which you should, of course.
I've been told they've been turning it around.
Yeah, but
I've
been told this for years. This
Red Wings.
They're on a heater.
The Red Wings are on it in a minute, so everyone's watching that. Gate. Well, appreciate you all. We'll be back tomorrow. The doc will be joining. We'll talk all Lions news, rumors, stuff like that with the doc. But until then, we appreciate you all. I think we might have already hit 12.3. Let me check. I think we're like 1 away. But until then, until tomorrow, we will catch you all. Have a great night. Go Wings. Peace.
See ya.